Incred wakes up to the sound of the world's worst alarm clock. Yes, folks, it's just a normal day in the trenches. The guy beside him is having an entire meltdown because there's a bug in his boot. Our guy just mutters, "Can we not?" Yep, that's our MC, and his name is Incred. Apparently, he caused some trouble and got demoted to squad leader of these absolute dimwits. Seriously, the squad, they're a whole mood. But anyway, they're off to the battlefield today to be human meat shields. Our boy Incred here doesn't have special powers or anything. No cheat codes or OP stats here, folks. Just pure grind. Every level up was earned through endless, brutal training. But even then, he's getting absolutely wrecked on the field. He's just a mid with zero talent. His ultimate quest, though, was to become a knight. Even if everyone laughed and told him it would never come true, he still kept hoping. He had this insane belief that as long as he held a sword in his hand, he would become a knight. And then, bam. That dream just officially ended, nerfed into oblivion. He just got stabbed in the throat. Blood pools in his mouth as HP hits 0. And just like that, he's dead. But you didn't think it would end there, did you? Suddenly, he sees a blue flame. He's kneeling in an endless pool of water. And then, guess what? He's back. The banging of pots jolts him awake again. He thinks it was all a dream. But then the roommate starts the same morning rant. "It's a bug," he screams. The exact same lines, folks. His eyes widen. Wait, what? Is this just super strong déjà vu? The battle sequence starts up all over again. And he dies again. Death number 2. Then, death number 3. A 4th death, just for variety. And every time he dies, he wakes up back in his bed. Was this all a dream? But he could still feel the blade, the burning, the blood. It's too real. And that was when Incred realizes that this was not a dream. He was stuck in an endless time loop, forced to relive his own brutal, tragic death over and over again. This is actual nightmare fuel. Okay, this is now his 17th death. Bro must be so tired. He falls and blood pools around him. Would things end differently if he had put in just a little more effort? Maybe then he wouldn't be dying here again. Suddenly, a scene change. Do you really think that? A mysterious voice echoes through the darkness. A ghostly ferryman approaches, rowing a long boat through the void. The voice tells him to try struggling. It wants him to feel the despair and give up. But has Incred given up? Nope, not one single bit. So then, it's back to the start. The alarm starts banging. He opens his eyes. His bunkmate Rem is on his bed. "Squad commander, you're up early today." Without missing a beat, he says, "Rem, you have bugs in your boots." Rem looks down, then freaks the heck out. He thinks Incred did it, but he just calmly replies, "Shut up, saw it crawl in earlier." This is his 18th time seeing that bug's corpse. Bro is not amused. Looking out the tent flap, he wonders, will he be able to finish it this time? Flashback time. Ever since he could remember, he's always dreamed of being a legendary knight, like the heroes in stories. A knight who could sway a battlefield alone. A knight who could end wars. A knight of the end, someone they would write songs about. For a while, he truly thought he was the protagonist. Main character vibes, you know. So, he left his village to become a knight, and became an instant laughingstock. Reality hit hard. He wasn't even good enough even if he offered his services for free. He wasn't someone who gave up easily. It was too early to give up. He refused to believe hard work betrays you. No talent, no problem, he'd overcome it all with time and effort. And he did. He gained strength, enough to be acknowledged. He was convinced he was getting stronger. Plot twist, he wasn't. This grim realization came when he lost a duel to a kid. The kid looked bored out of his mind. "Old man, you're weak." Mid, who spent a decade training until his hands were wrecked, just lost to a genius 12-year-old who had only wielded the sword for 6 months. The crushing reality set in. All his hard work, for nothing? Was there really no way out? But despite these setbacks, his desire never faded. He really wanted to become a knight. So he trained, sacrificed sleep and food, swinging his sword, again and again. Pure grind. Pushed himself to the brink, screaming through the pain and exhaustion. Trained until he couldn't stand. Sweat and tears mingled on the ground. Day after day, the sun rose. Solitary training. Countless slash marks on the tree. Hard evidence, folks. He came to a resolution. Even if he can't become a knight, he can at least be an experienced soldier. He lets out a primal scream, pouring every ounce of frustration and resolve into his training. 3 years pass. Incred is now in the Cyprus division. Clawed his way up to commander of a second-rate squad. Not too shabby. He calls to one of his men, Jackson. He looks up, annoyed. What is it? Incred tells him to cover morning duty. Promises to repay the favor later. Rem chimes in. That one's got a nasty glare. Incred turns to Rem. "Rem, heart of the beast, I want to learn it again," he requests. Rem seems amused. "Didn't you give up last time? Why do you think it'll work now?" But Incred already knows the answer. His endless loop of deaths gives him all the time in the world to practice. He's repeated this day so many times, he's already mastered the heart of the beast. What a grind set. He's also perfected the one thing that matters. How to stab. His kill stats must be wild. He relives the loop's start, dying in the Nolia versus Aspen battle, only to come back and do it all again. Every single time he revives, he learns the heart of the beast from Rem. Today, for sure, things will be different. Sun rises, two armies stand ready, a sea of soldiers prepared for war. Soldiers let out a deafening war cry. The charge begins. This is Encred's 21st time now. He's memorized every move. First, dodge the spear aimed for his back. Next, block the sword attack from the guy behind him. And now, he knows exactly what's coming. He glances at Vel, a member of another squad. He knows this man is about to die. Rather, he died every other time. But this time, Encred is there, blocks the fatal arrow with his shield. Vel stares in disbelief. Not safe yet. An enemy soldier leaps, sword raised to strike. Encred's plan worked. First goal complete. He saved Vel's life. Mission 1, secure. But now for the hard part, the real boss fight. Encred turns to face his nemesis, the one who always ends him. Bro is his personal Grim Reaper. This is the guy, the one who stabbed him in the neck, killed him 20 times. Encred takes a sharp breath. Focus absolute. This time, he will survive. He remembers Rem's harsh training. Look, you always close your eyes when there's danger, he scolds Encred. If you do this on the battlefield, you'll die immediately. Rem's final lesson echoes. Be brave. Become a bastard. One who knows nothing about death. Become a beast. That is the heart of the beast. Encred stares down his nemesis, the knight in purple armor. Killed him 20 times before. He remembers Rem's lesson. The key to Heart of the Beast is to become a true beast, one who doesn't know death. He asks himself a simple question. Am I afraid of death? The answer? Hard no. Death just makes him stronger. More XP, am I right? With a surge of strength, he dodges. His heart goes into overdrive. The first time, on his 21st attempt, he actually dodged the attack. But hold up, his killer isn't done. He pivots quickly and bam! Right in the throat. So near, yet so far for our boy. Man, that's brutal. So back to the river Styx he goes. Another lecture from the ferryman. Just give up. Get on the boat. Accept his weakness. Find peace in defeat. Will our MC listen this time? Of course, it's a big fat no. He saw the sword, and this time, he dodged it. He's moving forward, one step at a time. On his 22nd day, he's ready to challenge death, all over again. And challenge it he does. Our boy jumps right back into the fray. A whirlwind of clashing steel and desperate cries. Yep, this is the 33rd time Encred has faced this exact moment. But hey, this run is different. This time, he can actually see the incoming attack clear as day. He totally thinks he can change his fate, ready to juke before that blade even scratches him. Get it, King? Oh wait, no, too fast. The enemy is way too fast. And just like that, our boy is down. Another failed run. As his life fades, a familiar blue pendant tumbles from his neck, landing right in the battlefield dirt. Suddenly, Encred's mind flashes back. We are talking way back to his mercenary days when he was just taking out monster contracts. He helped some random village, not for the sweet coin, but because his ultimate dream was to be a knight. What a pure soul. The villagers, bless their poor hearts, could only offer him a simple charm as thanks. Hey, it is the thought that counts, right? It was a laughable reward for risking his entire life, but the old man swore it would grant his deepest prayers. Sure. Back in the present, lying in his own blood, Encred stares at that very charm. Is this the reason his day keeps repeating? All this pain, all this dying, just so he could become a knight? His killer, that menacing warrior, looms over him, offering some totally fake mercy. You must be in pain, he says. Yeah, no kidding, dude. Mercy, my butt, Encred thinks, glaring up at his killer with pure defiance. He sees the twisted glee, the pure pleasure in the man's glowing red eye as he brings the sword down for the final brutal blow. Clang, clang, clang. That familiar, obnoxious sound of a pan being beaten by a ladle rings out, snapping him back to reality. And just like that, he's back at his Minecraft spawn point. Rem is mid-scream about inspecting a boot, with Encred saying he put that there. Rem totally freaks out, asking if Encred has finally lost his actual mind. Probably a valid question, honestly. Without a single word, Encred stomps on the bug, then turns to Rem with a calm, unnerving smile. Teach me the heart of the beast, he demands. Rem just stares for a beat, completely bewildered, before suddenly lunging, striking without a warning. But Encred's eyes are laser-focused. He perfectly blocks the blow, stopping Rem's weapon just inches from his neck. Big brain play. Rem is utterly stunned. What are you doing? How are you so tough, all of a sudden? Encred's simple answer, I trained. He has done this exact dance more than 10 times. He learned this whole tough sensation from death itself. Encred just brushes off Rem's questions, casually grabbing a sword. One more round of sparring, he declares, ready for the grind. A wide, eager grin spreads across Rem's face. Sounds great, he shouts. This guy loves a good fight. Encred knows the heart of the beast won't save him if he can't actually land a single strike. He braces himself as Rem comes at him with a giant axe. He dodges just in time, Rem's axe missing his head by literally a hair. Close call, my dudes. The only sword technique he knows is a super sloppy mercenary style, apparently developed by some random guy named Valen. Not exactly top tier. It is a petty trick, and his form is weak. Rem easily knocks him off balance, roasting him for his poor lower body strength. Ouch. Still, among all the moves he has got in his kit, this is the most decent technique. Gotta work with what you have, right? He launches into a super low stance, totally surprising Rem with the sudden, aggressive change. Bet he didn't see that coming. He flashes back to his killer's face, then thrusts his sword forward, perfectly mimicking the lethal stab. Spooky. In a genuinely surprising move, he just lets go of the sword, sending it spinning through the air. For just a moment there, our boy became that monster. Dude really copied the ops moves. After dying to that same stab more than 10 times, his body perfectly remembers the motion. Muscle memory said, I got you, fam. Rim is actually impressed. That stab was the most decent thing you have shown me so far, he admits. High praise from this guy. But he explains it needed more impact. Enough force to make his hand actually bleed. Seriously, Rem? The problem, Rem says, is that Incrid is too full of self-doubt. Classic protagonist flaw, am I right? He hesitates, always worrying about what to do if his attack gets blocked. Gotta commit, my dude. Rem's advice, attack with pure conviction. Go in thinking, you are dead meat now. That way, he will never lose his grip. Savage. Rem's explanation might be crude, but Incrid totally gets it. Sometimes you just need that direct approach. He flashes back to the battlefield, remembering the key difference in that enemy's brutal stab. Time for a light bulb moment. As he chokes on his own blood, the truth hits him like a truck. He lacks confidence in his sword. His enemy, on the other hand, taunts him with a final sickening bit of mercy. What a troll. And then comes the final, utterly merciless blow. Brutal. The realization hits him he has to stab with the full intent to kill. With a fierce shout, he hurls his training sword. This is serious now. This new resolve fuels him, but death is still a constant companion. Day after day, he faces that same manic grin and the same cold steel. But he refuses to stop. Even if it is just a quarter step forward, he will take it no matter how many times he has to die. What a legend. The days bleed into one another. The 111th day. The 123rd day. Each one ends in blood and agony. Brutal stats. His nemesis is always there, always with that same taunt, effortlessly parrying his attacks. Then finally, on the 124th day, something changes. With a full-throated roar, Incrid unleashes everything he has learned, lunging at Rem with raw power. Rem moves to block, but the attack is faster, cleaner, deadlier. Incrid's blade stops just shy of his throat. He did it. Stunned. All Rem can do is stare. Are you crazy? He finally manages. Probably. Rem. Probably. Incrid's hands are a total mess, torn and bloody from the sheer force of his own grip. Oof. That is commitment. Rem points out his gushing hands, asking why he is laughing like a complete madman. But Incrid can't stop the crazed, triumphant grin spreading across his face. Pure, unhinged victory. Because he has finally done it. He has mastered that enemy's perverted, brutal stab. Fresh off mastering that brutal stab, Incrid is ready for his next death. His goal be just a little faster. As the warrior charges, he steels himself. This time, he's going full murderous intent. No holding back. He lunges, sword high, ready to pull off the move that's killed him like 100 times. But his enemy's ready. His sword meets solid metal instead of flesh. So close. Boom! The enemy sidesteps, brutal neck slash. Ouch. So yeah, his perfect stab attempt, total fail. But not this time. He won't blink. He won't even drop his sword. He remembers every single clash, every stab. It's all downloaded in his brain now. His enemy looms, heavy breathing. You look like you're suffering. His killer's sword is raised for the final blow. This is mercy, he says. Incrid makes a promise. Tomorrow. The enemy pauses, totally confused. You're going to die. He knows every word, every move. It's all in his head, folks. The enemy scoffs. The dead have no tomorrow. Then, stab. As he fades, that blue pendant glows again. Boom, he's back. He wakes up to a bug, and this time he crushes it. No hesitation. Rem is startled. I saw him head in a while ago, Incrid tells him. Then Incrid says, if you're thankful, take my guard duty. Rem just stares, completely baffled. Why is this pushover commander suddenly bossing him around? It's day 125. Things are about to get wild. He tells Big Eyes to get him shin armor, a shield, and a dagger. Promise to pay later. Big Eyes is confused by the new bossiness, but hey, it's an order from the squad leader. Another squad mate chimes in, roasting them for dumping tasks on Incrid. The others just think Incrid's acting super intense today, or maybe just weird, but it's more than intense. This is the focus of a guy who's died 124 times, my friend. Even with his resolve, he can't shake the pain of every single death. Doubt creeps in. What if he never wins, even after thousands of tries? What if he breaks the loop? Does he get a new day, or is he stuck here forever? He's stronger, so maybe just be content? Nah, he has to surpass this curse, or maybe this weird blessing. His resolve is ironclad, period. Quickly, he dons his new gear, chest plate, shin guards, then the shield. Gotta keep moving forward. Squat at his back, he charges into the fray again. The battle is a chaotic mess of clashing steel. No special skills. He knows he needs 3 things to survive: preparation, luck, and a super cool head. Day 47 flashback, he dodged a mace, then his head was crushed by another guy. Day 52, he tried a spinning slash, but his foot cut clean off. Oof. Day 84, his head is split open by a thrown axe. That axe thrower always interrupts his fight with the boss monster, but his throwing practices pay off. He hurls his dagger, taking the axe thrower down. Next, we have the Claw of the Hawk. No time to fight, but Incrid knows the drill. Shields up, the arrow thuds into his shield while a clean beheading happens inches away. Threats neutralized. Time to face the literal wall. He spots his nemesis. The guy turns and stares at him. Incrid stares back, unflinching. What a Chad. They square up, ready to collide while chaos rages all around. They charge. A collision course in the chaos of war. Incrid meets him head-on, blocking the powerful swing with his new shield. His sword shatters, but the block works. Okay, this is a better strategy, folks. The enemy's strong, a prodigy even. But Incrid's got one thing that the prodigy lacks: experience. The enemy is shocked. He expected a charge, not a block. Lacking real experience, he's easily surprised. Incrid takes full advantage of this. Incrid knows the Velen mercenary sword technique is his opening. Bullseye, right into the enemy's arm. With nothing held back, he lunges at his opponent yet again. For the first time, Incrid sees it, pure panic in his killer's eyes. The enemy swings his massive sword wildly, but Incrid dodges it perfectly, completely unfazed. He's built different. The attack throws the enemy off balance, stumbling him forward. Red glow in his visor flickers. He's rattled, for real. Incrid's eyes narrow. He knows everything about this guy's signature move. He's seen that stab 100 times. He has died to it 100 times. He's faced this impossible wall, mastered the heart of the beast, and can pull off that same perfect stab himself. With a grimace, he declares, "I won't abandon this fight." Inches before impact, the enemy's sword crumbles to fragments. What is going on? Just then, an arrow from Claw of the Hawk comes flying in. His nemesis, disarmed, desperately reaches for the sword. Incrid holds his ground, fingers locked around his sword in anticipation. "I win," he tells himself. A massive arrow hurtles in from afar. But look what we've got here. Incrid slams the blade directly into the warrior's neck with a sickening crunch. Fatal hit. Rem yells, "That Claw of the Hawk jerk." From above, the battlefield sees it, a perfect fatal strike. He's now standing victorious over the guy who killed him 124 times. The battle continues as Incrid finally breathes, sweat pouring down his face. He looks down at his nemesis, the reality of his victory finally sinking in. He raises the sword, thinking, this is mercy. One final swing, he decapitates his enemy. He sees it. He's finally broken through the wall. No more resets. But wait, it's not over. The tension only tightens. Downed instantly. Who is this side character trying to be relevant? He coughs up. Did his victory just turn to ash? Rem looks on in horror, screaming in disbelief at the attacker. He's a frog, he yells. The new foe is a tall, muscular, blue-skinned warrior, and he's got frog features. Okay, so Incrid's big win, totally ripped away. He's just lying there helpless in front of the formidable blue-skinned frog dude. The warrior just nopes at Incrid. I invested quite a bit in raising this one. I can't believe someone like you defeated him. Meanwhile, Incrid's nemesis is just a headless fountain of black blood, a grim trophy of Incrid's short-lived victory. All Incrid can do is grit his teeth through the searing pain. Our boy is really down bad right now. The new enemy raises his mace, aiming for the finish. Die, he commands. But before that crushing blow can land, bam, an axe intercepts it with a deafening crash. It's Rem, saving the day. These two powerhouses are instantly locked in a struggle, weapons grinding against each other. This is going to be a good fight. Both fighters stare each other down, neither one willing to give an inch. Pure tension. They break apart in a blur of motion, ready for the next round. But wait, an enemy soldier spots an opening and charges Incrid with a spear. Classic battlefield distraction tactic. Too slow, buddy. Jackson spins around, cleaving the poor grunt in two before he can even touch Incrid. Man got quick reflexes. Immediate threat, neutralized. Rem and the blue warriors circle each other, preparing to re-engage. Rem flashes a cocky grin. If you want to cut off our squad commander's head, you need my permission first. Our boy is feeling himself. The frog-like warrior looks genuinely confused. Squad commander, that weakling's the commander, not you. LOL, Incrid just got roasted by the enemy. Rem sizes up his opponent, thinking about the legendary warrior race of frogs. He knows this isn't going to be an easy boss fight. The frog warrior also wonders why someone this strong is on such a minor battlefield. Looks like he'll have to get serious. Rem's eyes glow with fierce intensity. He knows what he has to do. I'll have to put my life on the line. This is getting intense. But then, plot twist. The frog warrior surprisingly backs down, deciding this battle isn't worth it. What? He just turns and walks away, disappearing into the chaos of the battle. Like for real? Rem watches him leave, muttering under his breath, "Coward. Someone just rage quit, I guess." With the main event over, Rem unleashes his fury on the remaining enemy soldiers. Time to farm some XP. The rest of Incrid's squad follows suit, a whirlwind of blades cutting through the enemy ranks. They look like the newest version of the Avengers. As his squad turns the tide, Incrid's vision begins to fade. Our hero is on the verge of collapsing. The enemy forces break, the call to retreat echoing across the field. Victory. But just as victory seems certain, everything dissolves into darkness. Incrid is back in the void. Oh no, not again. The spectral voice returns. You managed to survive a day, but that's it. You won't be able to withstand the walls that will keep appearing. Is this a new game mechanic? Your fate is to despair and give up, it proclaims. Sounds like a debuff to me. Incrid is on his hands and knees, the word echoing in his mind. Fate? He's clearly not buying it. Slowly, painfully, he pushes himself back to his feet. Get up, Incrid. He stands defiantly. The walls exist to be overcome, he says, his eyes blazing. The figure gives a slight, chilling smile. I'll be waiting eagerly for the moment those eyes completely lose their light. He's out here psycho-flexing in style. Incrid's eyes snap open. He's not in the void or on the battlefield. He's alive, wrapped in bandages. He respawned. Looking around, he recognizes the infirmary tent. No permanent death, just a brief visit to his Minecraft spawn point. Rem is chilling beside him, telling him he's been out cold for 2 days straight. That's a long nap. He reminds Incrid, I saved you from that darn frog, remember? Incrid sits up, confused, trying to piece it together. The memory hits him, a frog warrior. He actually survived. Unbelievable plot armor, my friend. Rem checks on him, explaining he just has a bad concussion. Then he jokingly asks if Incrid remembers his best friend forever. So much for professionalism, Rem. Incrid shoots him down instantly. I never said we were friends, you noble hunter. Oof. Cold. Annoyed, Rem grabs Incrid's face, telling him to shut up. Best friends indeed. He lets go and calls him out for blurting out his secret background. Are you someone I have nothing to do with, or my best friend? Pick one, dude, Incrid jokingly says. This is a new today, a day beyond the loop. He made it out alive. The timeline resets successfully. Suddenly, a red-haired squadmate named Cray starts complaining about the money he spent to get Incrid into the infirmary, demanding to be paid back 3 times. Incrid dryly points out that Cray's was as usual, nowhere to be seen during the battle. Shocker. Cray's just laughs it off, offering a special discount of double the price instead. What a deal. Later, as the sun sets, another squad member, Jackson, approaches the tent. He silently tosses a small container to Incrid. Apply this twice a day. Don't ask where I got it. Sounds like some rare loot. Incrid recognizes it as Jackson's personal ointment and is totally surprised, since Jackson never shares anything. Oh, that's so sweet. Next to visit is Auden, the big crybaby, a brawny man with long white hair. He just sits by the bed, mumbling and crying. Incrid, clearly not in the mood for waterworks, just tells him, just go, I'm not dead. That night, Incrid lies awake, wondering why his normally self-centered squadmates are taking shifts to watch over him. Is this a glitch in the Matrix? He closes his eyes, considering a new possibility. Could it be they're worried about me? Impossible. Just then, the tent flap opens. It's Ragna, standing watch, always on duty. Ragna sees Incrid's eyes are open and is surprised. He walks in, looking shocked. Commander, what are you doing in the infirmary? The squad just fought a war? He turns his back and takes a loud bite of his apple, waving over at Incrid. Incrid scoffs to himself. He knows there's no way a guy like Ragna is actually worried about him. Get real. Looking around, he notices 2 other soldiers in the tent with him. Infirmary's getting crowded. One is a platoon commander from another company Incrid used to butt heads with. He immediately shoots Incrid a dirty look. What are you looking at? Still salty, I see. The other is just some random, unnamed soldier, quietly staring into space, probably grinding his internal stats. Incrid wonders how a low-ranking guy like that even ended up in here. Must have taken some unexpected damage. Suddenly, the sound of clanking armor echoes through the tent, grabbing everyone's attention. A new challenger approaches. A mysterious figure stands at the entrance. Intrigue builds. A close-up reveals a pointed elven ear and an ornate sword hanging at their side. Fancy. The figure turns, revealing a beautiful, high-ranking elven officer. Oh, hello there. She looks over the occupants of the tent and asks with authority, who's the commander of the 444th squad, she demands. Incrid looks up, a giant question mark practically hovering over his head. Is she really talking to him? Our elven officer, still looking imposing, surveys the infirmary. Everyone's a little stunned. One soldier, completely awestruck, whispers, "A fairy, dude, get a grip." But she cuts right to the chase, demanding his unit. This dude, Vengeance, the platoon commander, introduces himself, and she stares him down, asking if his company teaches him to state his race to a superior. Ouch. Vengeance immediately stammers out an apology. He's totally owned. Incrid watches this masterclass, realizing she's definitely the new 4th Company commander. So, our man Incrid sits up and introduces himself. Incrid, commander of the 4th Squad. He's got some guts. The commander offers a faint smile. "I heard good things, so I look forward to your contributions." Okay, maybe she's not so bad. Then she just turns and walks away. Incrid is left totally baffled. Was that it? Just a drive-by hello? But hold up. There's still someone she hasn't formally met yet. She asks the blonde dude, "What's your name?" He fumbles, then awkwardly introduces himself as Krang. Did he just make that up on the spot? Seems like it. Incrid can't believe this guy's attitude. That name was definitely a lie. Gotta be a noble, right? The commander just gives Krang a silent side-eye glance and finally leaves for good. Incrid watches her go, deep in thought about this whole scene. Later that night, back in the barracks, Incrid starts testing his strength. Pain? Mostly gone. Power? Coming back online. Time to get that grind on, baby. He gets dressed and heads straight for the training area. No rest for the weary. Some bunkmate scoffs, calling him an idiot for trying to act tough. Haters gonna hate. From his cot, Krang watches Incrid leave with a curious look. What's he thinking? Outside, Incrid mentally preps, recalling one of the few useful fighting methods from his childhood. He flashes back to his last battle. That all-or-nothing final attack, total gamble. 100% dead if it failed. He visualizes the attack, every move needing to be absolutely lethal. No room for error. Suddenly, a voice interrupts. "You're working hard." It's Krang, just creeping on him, watching the whole time. Incrid explains he's training his grip and mentally replaying the battle. Grip day and PTSD day combined. Our boy likes it that way. When Krang asks why, Incrid gives a blunt answer, "So I don't get messed up." Keeping it real. Krang presses him. What does he hope to become by surviving? Incrid reflects on his dream, one everyone laughs at, but he's never stopped chasing it, even with zero talent. He grips his sword tightly, then with unwavering conviction, drops the bomb. A knight. Krang's expression? Surprise, not ridicule. Incrid stares back. This is a first for our boy. Someone who didn't just laugh in his face. Krang, lost in thought, mutters, "I forgot to." Then he suddenly stands up. He says watching Incrid helped him figure out his next move. Then he just turns and walks away. Mysterious much? Incrid is left alone, pondering this super strange encounter. For the first time, Incrid feels supported. Krang turns back with a smile. "If you become a knight, remember my name. Friend." Okay, that was kind of sweet. The very next morning, the camp is alive with the annoying song of a wandering minstrel. Ooh. Incrid's back in the barracks, annoyed by a squad mate loudly complaining about delayed breakfast. Dude, chill. Taking a walk, he runs into Jackson, who asks about his injuries. He tells Jackson the medicine worked and thanks him. Jackson tells him to hurry back to the squad. So cryptic. That night, Krang wishes him good night, and Incrid returns the sentiment before finally crashing. He drifts off, thinking of the lazy, uneventful day, completely ignoring the haters. The next morning, he's jolted awake by that same annoying minstrel's song. Then he hears it. The exact same complaint about morning rations from the exact same soldier. A chilling sense of déjà vu washes over him. Wait a minute. He's back at the training grounds. Jackson asks the same question. He gives the same reply. It's all happening again. What the heck? His eyes widen in horror. He's certain it's the same day as yesterday. Groundhog Day much? That spectral voice echoes in his mind, warning of another walls to stop him, taunting him to survive. The terrible truth crashes down. Did I die without even noticing? Mind blown. He feels like total crap. This is even more hopeless than getting stabbed to death. But this new level of despair, it doesn't break him. It just makes him even more determined. Trapped in yet another loop, Incrid faces his new challenge under a starry night sky. Let's go. Lying awake in the dimly lit infirmary, he tries to piece together how he died. The plot thickens. No frontal assault, he figures. Had to be a hidden assassin already inside the camp. Suspicious. His mind immediately jumps to the new elven commander. She knows the layout, moves like a ghost, and is a skilled killer. Obvious much? He recalls her graceful, fairy-like nimbleness. Perfect for assassination, he realizes. Was her infirmary visit just a recon mission to scout the location beforehand? This is a level up for our guy's detective skills. He's about to go full Sherlock mode. He decides on a simple plan, wait for her to show up, then scream to wake the entire barracks. Solid plan, right? But as he waits, a needle flies through the air, embedding itself right into his neck. Oof! A poisonous needle. He didn't even see the assassin. This guy is stealthy AF. His body convulses in agony as the poison takes hold. Not a good look. He tumbles from the bed, completely paralyzed. Can't move, can't speak, full nerf. It's a powerful numbing poison. He finally understands why he died so mysteriously before. Makes sense now. Glancing over, others are hit too. Platoon Commander Vengeance lies still, needle in his neck. Yikes. His eyes widen in horror. A dark, hooded figure is looming over Krang's bed. Oh no, it's the assassin. And Crid seethes helpless as the figure raises a sword. The blade plunges deep into Krang's chest, killing him. Just like that. Poor Krang. As Incrid stares in pure rage, the tent fabric is suddenly sliced open from the outside. What? Through the tear, he sees another loaked figure. Oh snap, a second assassin. Double trouble. How could anyone not recognize that familiar elf ear? And she's holding a vine-like staff too. No doubt now, it's her. The figure pulls back her hood, revealing the piercing eyes of none other than the Elven Company leader. And just like that, the minstrel's cheery tune starts up again. Here we go, another reset. For Incrid, it's the same darn morning for the third time. Talk about a bad respawn point. He's on high alert but still can't sense those stealthy assassins. This ain't gonna be a cakewalk. And even if he beats the first crew, he still has to face her, the new company commander, aka the Elven Queen of Assassins. Yikes! That wave of helplessness hits him hard. He felt the same despair in his last loop just days ago. But then he remembers that sweet taste of victory. He won that battle, despite everything. With that resolve, he knows he'll escape this hell. No giving up, not now. Suddenly he yanks a blanket off Vengeance. Vengeance jolts awake, yelling, "What's with you? You're acting crazy." Sword in hand, Incrid figures the assassins are outside. His bunkmate calls him a psycho. Training for cockroaches with a sword now, are we? The soldier just says, yeah, that kind of training is perfect for low-life grunts. Incrid deadpans, didn't know you cared so much. But Vengeance snaps back, I was being sarcastic, you jerk. I was being sarcastic too, Incrid replies coldly. Vengeance scoffs, telling him to buzz off. Just then, Krang peeks in, a smile on his face. Arguing again? Should I come back later? Incrid tells him to come in as Vengeance mutters about the annoying jerks he's surrounded by. Last time, the assassins were definitely watching Krang. He's the real target. Incrid just knows it. This guy is super suspicious, but what's his deal? What's he hiding? He decides not to pry. No way he's digging into someone's business like those other nosy folks in his squad. Still, Incrid got dragged into this whole assassination mess because of Krang, so he figures he's earned the right to ask, Krang, what are you? Krang turns, a troubled look on his face, but stays completely silent. Incrid wonders if he phrased that wrong. His social skills are probably on par with Rem, after all. Krang finally speaks. What am I? That's not something I can tell you. Incrid asks why not, and Krang just says, it's a long story. The way he said that, man has lore. Dangerous amounts of lore. And Incrid just accepts that non-answer. Even he's confused by himself, but Vengeance is having none of it. Are you kidding me? If you were gonna accept that, don't ask in the first place, you dope. Then he turns on Krang, straight up accusing him of being a spy. For what country, huh? Krang gives him an ice-cold stare. And folks, Vengeance shuts up instantly. That's some serious intimidation stats. Krang just walks towards the stunned commander, radiating pure authority. I have not and will not betray the kingdom, Krang declares. Absolutely unwavering. Incrid watches him. His eyes, his movements, the undeniable aura of a knight, perhaps. This guy's got main character energy. Vengeance tries to pull rank, but Krang just laughs. Sir, ha ha ha. Incrid knows Krang isn't a knight, though. He was totally nerfed against the assassin. Still, he's definitely hiding something big. What could be in his inventory? As night falls, Krang wishes Incrid a good night. The barracks finally goes quiet. Time for the real fun. Incrid lies awake, noticing Vengeance is oddly calm, still spooked by Krang, probably. His eyes snap open. He knows if those assassins barge in, everyone is toast. Game over, man. He quietly gets up and grabs his sword. Vengeance, also awake, asks, what are you doing? Incrid turns to him with a grim warning. Assassins are invading this tent soon. Cooperate if you want to live. He really said collaborate or evaporate. Vengeance just scoffs as Incrid's lost his mind and rolls over. Some folks just don't listen. Across the room, Krang lies peacefully, hands behind his head, but he's definitely listening in. Incrid expected that reaction, but then a sudden thought hits him. How did Krang know he was awake? Plot twist. Before he can react, a poisoned needle flies through the tent and strikes him right in the neck. Critical hit. Horror floods Incrid's face as a spray of blood erupts from his body and he gropes for his blade. In a flash, the assassin slits Vengeance's throat, then stabs Krang through the chest. Incrid falls, powerless to stop the culprit. He wakes up to that familiar morning chant again. The fourth time, he knows he can't get help without solid proof. Informing the higher-ups is useless. They'll just call him insane and tell him to buzz off. Been there, done that. New plan, predict the exact moment the assassins appear, then scream to alert everyone before they strike. Bold strategy, Cotton. He waits in the darkness, senses on high alert, trying to pinpoint the second. Is it now or not. He feels it now, but it's too late. A blade cuts his warning short. Oof. Incrid's throat is slit as blood gushes violently before he can react. That assassin is just too fast, too overpowered. Okay, new plan. No help? Then he goes on the offensive. Ambush the ambushers before they can even think about moving. Let's get aggressive. But there's a huge problem. How do you fight an enemy you can't even see? Talk about a stealth check failure. They see his every move, but he's practically blind. As long as he can't dodge that poison needle, he's a sitting duck. Total disadvantage. He wakes up to that familiar morning chant. It's the 20th loop, and for the 20th time, he failed completely. This is giving Groundhog Day, but with way more trauma. 20 times. That number hits hard, but his gaze, pure, cold determination. He's got that main character grit. All right, first things first. Avoid that poison needle. Everything else is secondary. New quest objective unlocked. He needs to be faster than their eyes, and that's when he spots him, Jackson, the quiet one, polishing his dagger. Incrid heads over to Rem and asks about the perverted wild cat. Rem just looks totally baffled. Classic Rem. Rem explains it's Jackson's nickname because, well, he's a dirty pervert. The guy loves stabbing enemies and bailing out. Just then, Jackson spots him and asks if Incrid's okay. But Incrid is already thinking, this guy could probably solo those assassins. But he can't just order Jackson to help. No authority. Another impossible wall to climb all by himself. His stats aren't high enough. And then it hits him. If he can't get Jackson's help, he'll just become Jackson. Level up, Incrid. He walks up to Jackson and asks a very specific question. If you were to backstab me, how would I stop it? This is like a friendship that has trust issues pre-installed. Jackson pauses, thinking it over. Then he says, I'm not sure. No one has ever survived my ambushes. Total flex. Incrid's eyes go wide, but whether in approval or offense, no one can tell. Oof. After a super tense moment, seems like Jackson is about to speak again. Oh, this is going to be good. He says, you'd need eyes on the back of your head. Incrid is utterly baffled. Eyes on the back of my head? What in the world does that even mean? Jackson's timing is absolutely perfect. He just casually points off into the distance. You see that wagon? Behind the tents. Incrid is shocked, wondering how Jackson could even notice something so incredibly far away. Talk about high perception stats. Jackson loves to flex. It's going to fall apart, he predicts. And just like that, a loud crack echoes through the air as the wagon's wheel shatters. You gotta be kidding me. Incrid stares, completely, utterly baffled. Our dude is experiencing a whole new level of reality right now. Are you a prophet or something? He demands, desperate to know how Jackson just did that magic trick. Bro really said, explain your hacks right now. Jackson, ever the minimalist, just points to his ear. Sound. He explains he heard the super faint creaking from the wagon's axle. Man's got super hearing. Basically, if you can hear what's around you, you can predict what's gonna happen next. It's like having future sight, but with your ears. Incrid can't believe it. He didn't even hear the wagon approach, let alone a quiet creak. His stats are clearly nerfed in this area. Jackson advises him to keep listening, to really hone his senses and isolate those specific sounds. Incrid's actually a bit surprised by the thorough explanation. Jackson usually seems too lazy to respond to anything. I am lazy, Jackson admits with peak sarcasm, but it's better than having you on my heels. Fair enough. He adds one last thought, almost a compliment. Seems like you won't give up, squad leader. That night, Incrid lies awake, his new, incredibly challenging path clear. He's come across his second great wall, a faceless death from the shadows. A true stealth assassin type. But now, he has a way to win. He can totally live if he can just sense them first. He focuses, trying to listen to the sounds of the night, the regular footsteps of the patrol, the crackling of the torches. Suddenly, a silent figure leaps from the top of a tent. Uh-oh, game on. Incrid frantically scans the darkness with his hearing. Where are you? The assassin lands without a single sound, not a peep. The air itself signed an NDA. He can't hear anything. Where's that jerk's sound? Incrid panics, but it's too late. A poison needle slams into his neck. Ouch! His eyes go wide in shock and pain as the poison instantly takes hold. Another death, another reset. Of course, he failed. He sits on his bed. So close, yet so far. He feels like he hasn't taken a single step forward. But his body? Oh, his body remembers everything. The experience of 100 battles, the heart of the beast, that perfect stab, it's all etched into his muscle memory like a game save. He recalls Jackson's lesson: you can pinpoint a location based on the sound's intensity and direction. Once you can hear those faint, faraway sounds, your ears become a second pair of eyes. Pretty cool, right? Jackson had even demonstrated it by snapping his fingers. A tiny sound, but it reverberates. That single sound wave rings out in all directions, no matter how silent the source. Science, my friends. The true challenge is to isolate that one single wave from the thousands of others mixed together. It's like finding a needle in a haystack of noise. Back in the present, Incrid is surrounded by the sheer cacophony of the bustling camp. The sounds are all mixed up. He closes his eyes and focuses, needing to listen, categorize, and isolate them. He starts with the flags. To his ears, they all sound like one large flag flapping. How many are there? 7? 10? He needs to separate them. Next, the footsteps. He can distinguish them from right to left, 3 close, and 2 far away. He's getting there. He continues to practice separating the familiar sounds from the unfamiliar ones. This is some serious grinding for his perception skill. Suddenly, a voice cuts through his intense concentration. Incrid? Who dares interrupt the training montage? It's Krang, looking amused. What kind of training is this, NC? Incrid is a little flustered, unsure of how to feel about his new nickname, NC. Krang just keeps going like a true buddy. I'm sure it's fine if that's what you want to do. Incrid snaps back, asking if it looked like he's just sitting around like an idiot. Krang's smile is genuine, though. You're not an idiot who wastes time, right? He asks. The comment hits Incrid and his focus sharpens. Krang's words were a wake-up call in a surprisingly wholesome way. That night, he tries again. A needle flies through the darkness. And again, it finds his neck. Reset, fail, rinse, and repeat. His eyes go wide with the familiar stinging failure. This guy is literally reliving his own death over and over. The assassin then moves on, plunging a sword into the sleeping Krang. The bloody blade reflects the faint light of the tent. Krang gasps his last breath, blood pouring from his mouth. The 33rd day. Another failure. The emotional toll of this is immense. And on the 34th day, it happens again. The assassin leaps, lands, and Incrid hears nothing. Failure after failure. The montage of pain continues. Back in the waking world, Incrid sits amidst the camp's noise. His eyes closed. He's been here for days now. He finally understands. He doesn't need more experience to overcome this wall. This isn't about grinding stats. Incrid realizes it's not about some grand epiphany or divine intervention. It's much simpler and much harder. Sitting in the bustling camp, he focuses, tuning his senses to the world around him like a human radar. He hones in on the tiniest of sounds, the sharp scratch of a bird's talons gripping a distant tent pole. Insane detail. He knows what he has to do. He replays the moment in his mind, the silent descent of the killer over and over. Suddenly, Krang is standing over him again. He got in close. Krang is completely baffled. I snuck up on you. How did you know I was here? He sounds genuinely impressed. He pieces it together, realizing Incrid was training his perception the whole time. Krang just got schooled by his friend's ear training. With newfound clarity, Incrid dives back into his mental simulation. This time, he's ready. The poison needle, the instrument of his death over and over again, comes straight for his neck. But this time, it's different. His hand flashes up and intercepts the attack. He caught it. He's done it. He's finally overcome the impossible first move. The grind paid off. For the first time, the assassin is stunned, gritting his teeth in shock. This dude has never failed before, I bet. Incrid grins with manic triumph. He's no longer just a victim. The plot is thickening once again. The assassin seethes from the ground. You absolute rat. Incrid sizes him up. Honestly, this dude's stats feel lower than the last assassin. He's totally confident. But wait, his mind flashes to the others. Vengeance is still down and Krang is fighting for his literal life. Still, Incrid knows he can't get careless. This assassin's still a pro after all. Surprise! The assassin launches a dagger. Incrid is sliced. He throws another, but this time, Incrid snatches it right out of the air. Suddenly, a new voice cuts through all the chaos. It's the Elven Company commander. Incrid knows if he didn't attack first, he'll die. She leaps into action, unleashing a storm of needles not at Incrid, but at the other assassin fighting Krang. Krang is absolutely stunned as his opponent gets instantly taken down. Incrid is just as confused by this totally sudden turn of events. The commander lands gracefully, her cloak shielding Krang from any lingering attacks. What a boss entrance. Lightbulb moment. Incrid realizes she's here to protect them. Whatever her reason, this is his chance. He lunges at his assassin while the dude is totally distracted. The assassin roars in frustration, barely managing to parry Incrid's strike. He swears under his breath, then turns his back on Incrid. Knowing he's outnumbered, the assassin makes a run for it, vaulting over the tent wall. Smart move. Krang walks over, stating, that guy was probably after me. Incrid calmly replies, I know. Krang is totally stunned. How could you possibly know that? Incrid, the smarty pants, explains no one would pay a pro assassin for grunts like him or vengeance. Krang had to be the target. The commander compliments his quick thinking, then suddenly grips her sword. The mood shifts instantly. Uh-oh. Incrid realizes the danger. She was an ally, but now she can't leave any witnesses. He readies his dagger, bracing for yet another fight. But Krang steps between them. I have a favor to ask. I don't want anyone to die today. After a tense moment, she actually relents. As you wish. They check on Vengeance, who's still unconscious. Krang asks if he's dead, but the commander assures him the antidote will work. Incrid notes her expertise with poisons. Yeah, she's clearly more than just a company commander. So sus. Now they have a new problem, cleaning up this whole mess without drawing any suspicion. The commander has an idea. There's an easy way. Her solution? Burn it all down. Peace was never an option, apparently. As soldiers rush to fight the blaze, they conveniently find 2 survivors outside. Classic cover-up. Incrid coughs dramatically from the smoke, knowing all traces of the assassins have been erased. A bit later, the commander tells Krang he owes Incrid his life. Talk about a life debt. She asks if Incrid is why he changed his mind. Yeah, Krang admits. Isn't he interesting? Krang looks wistful, saying he's been trying to avoid this whole path. But fate, right? But it seems Incrid's sheer will has rubbed off on him. They part ways, promising to meet again in their respective roles. Future team-up confirmed? Back in the familiar void, Incrid watches as the symbol of his struggle, the scythe, materializes and then shatters. A man shows himself before him. The voice of the void promises he'll see that man again whenever he wants. Spooky. And just like that, he wakes up. It's morning. A brand new day. He's finally done it. He survived, and he's woken up to the next day's morning. He broke the loop. He said, not today, cosmic glitch. He's back, and he's got a whole lot of work to do. As Incrid gets ready to head out, someone he saved from the fire talks to him. It's Vengeance, but he's genuinely confused and asked Incrid why he'd even bother. Incrid's mind races. Is this guy seriously giving him crap for saving his life? And why does he hate him so much anyway? Incrid just scoffs. Because we're comrades. Do I need another reason? As Incrid walks off, Vengeance mutters under his breath, calling him a selfless pain in the butt after all the grief he's caused. He then asks if Incrid's returning to his squad. Vengeance warns him he's out of luck because the mood over there is absolutely terrible. Did something happen? There's a rumor going around, he says, that this entire base is cursed. Anyway, Ragna and Rem are stuck in yet another verbal sparring match. Don't mess with me, you underdeveloped monkey. Ragna spits. Turns out he's in a full-on brawl with Rem, who just flashes a crazy grin. The fight is drawing a crowd. Other soldiers complain that those lazy troublemakers are at it again, blaming their absent squad leader. Ragna crashes through a tent and immediately gets back in the fight, landing a solid punch on Rem's jaw. Rem retaliates with a brutal right hook, then pulls out an axe. Let me fix your skull with my axe. Not to be outdone, Ragna draws his massive sword, ready to slice the barbarian in half. The onlookers are starting to freak out. Total chaos. Watching the chaos unfold, Incrid just lets out a tired sigh. He doesn't know about the base being cursed, but he's pretty sure those 2 pain-in-the-butts are his curse. His voice cuts through the chaos. Knock it off, you idiots. They freeze, staring. You're alive? We thought you were dead. At this point, this man beats death just to babysit grown men. 4 days. Just 4 days since Incrid, our resident chaos manager, rejoined his squad. Suddenly, his eyes snap open. Oh, what fresh hell awaits him now? Standing over his bed is Jackson, looking sheepish. He tried to leave quietly. Tried. Incrid just shrugs it off. He was already planning his morning grind anyway. Jackson's surprised. He compliments Incrid's listening skills, saying he's a fast learner. Incrid just says he's been practicing. Jackson tells him that hard work always pays off. True that, my friend. With winter creeping in, battles are slowing down. Incrid takes this as an opportunity for some serious grinding. He's laser-focused, determined to level up his stats during this downtime. Bro is in his locked-in era. Good morning, brother squad leader, a voice booms. Incrid turns, already looking unimpressed. It's Auden casually doing push-ups with a giant boulder on his back. Gym hacks nobody asked for. He drops the rock with a thud, lecturing Incrid. A well-trained body is a weapon, my dude. Auden preaches. Auden gets right in Incrid's face, saying he's still too scrawny. Can't even take a frog kick, apparently. Incrid deadpans. Aren't you just excessively large, though? But he agrees to try. What a trooper. Just as Auden starts dropping some technique wisdom, chaos erupts from the barracks. Of course, Rem's going full-on Ragna for being lazy, spinning him around like it's nothing. Peak squad energy. Ragna wakes, grabs his sword, and aims to swing at Rem. Before the big ol' swing, Incrid steps in, asking the eternal question, are you two fighting again? Incrid's like, give it a rest. And Auden hits back with brute force. Doesn't work, bro. Rem's not having it. He rants about Ragna, the directionally challenged jerk who's gonna starve them all. Ragna is told it's his turn to cook. He agrees. Rem's like, wait, so all that fighting was for nothing? But Ragna just pushes Rem's sweaty hand away. Incrid steps in, asking Rem if he's just bored, picking fights for fun. You know, like a true gamer with no new quests. Rem grins. Yup, the lack of battles is making him itch for a fight. He needs that PvP fix. Badly. So, he draws his sword and challenges Incrid to a duel. Oh, it's on now. The duel begins. Incrid immediately takes a brutal hit. Oof, that's gonna leave a mark. Rem yells, you gotta learn how to take hits, dude. Then lands a devastating blow, sending sparks flying. But Incrid stays focused, keeping his cool with the heart of the beast. He's using his hearing to block every attack. And now, It's time for the move. The one he perfected by dying hundreds of times, the stab. He parries Rem's axe, then lunges, aiming for the throat. But Rem's too fast. He catches the blade with his axe, then brutally counters, twisting Incrid off balance. Rem is unimpressed. He expected more, especially after Incrid's recent level-ups. That same stab? So boring. Rem taunts. Got anything new, bruh? Incrid, sweating and in pain, knows he's different. He's changed, truly. No more being a softie. He looks Rem dead in the eyes. Come at me again. I'll properly destroy you this time. Oof. Someone grab the popcorn, this beef's about to get cinematic. Rem thinks to himself, Incrid's still a noob, but that fire in his eyes? Always a banger. He loves to see it. He grins, accepting the challenge. You can say that after you actually leave a dent on me. But just as they're about to go again, the sky opens up. It starts absolutely pouring. Seriously? Back inside the barracks, Rem is fuming. Mushrooms are gonna grow on my feet, he complains. What a drama queen. While Ragna sleeps and Auden polishes some mysterious trinket, Kraze bursts in. He's furious. The rain canceled his duels. He rants. We must be cursed. Oh, here we go with the lore dump. Incrid asks, what curse? Kraze looks surprised he hasn't heard the camp rumors. Has our boy been under a rock? Incrid remembers Vengeance mentioning something, and Kraze confirms it. The whole encampment is cursed. He explains, ever since the campfire, injuries are piling up, especially for the scout squad. But apparently, the weird weather just fuels the rumors. Incrid knows the higher-ups will definitely notice this chaos. This ain't good. Kraze asks why he's just standing at the entrance. Training my senses, Incrid replies, cool as a cucumber. Kraze is totally baffled. In this downpour, but Incrid just stands there. The rain, he explains, is the entire point of his training. Big brain hours, wet edition. Inside, Rem calls Incrid a stray cat for his way of training. But Jackson gives a subtle nod, approving the weirdness of it all. Rem snaps, yelling at Kraze for defending Incrid. Then he unleashes his full rage on Kraze for ignoring him, screaming insults into the storm. Meanwhile, Auden is lounging with Krang. He says you can train even while lying down, with Jackson offering to check his stance. Sure, Jackson. Rem says, look at these guys. Yeah, you all noticed, didn't you? He's right. Auden, Jackson, and Krang. One by one, all watch Incrid. There's a new, quiet understanding in their eyes. He's earned it. Rem flashes a subtle smile to Incrid. He sees the glow-up. That night, at a high-level meeting, orders go out. The commanders are tasked to keep the soldiers in check. They need to fill ranks for one last scout party before winter. The Elven Company commander speaks up with a surprising suggestion. What about the 444th squad leader? The platoon commander scoffs. That useless guy? Isn't he a little dumb? What if he totally nerfs the scout party? Ouch. Harsh. But she insists certain Incrid could bring unexpected results. When asked why, she leans forward, eyes sharp, fairy instinct, main character energy, but make it mystical. The next day, under a clear sky, Incrid is summoned to the company commander's tent. This can only mean one thing. I'm being sent to the scouts. He meets her intense, unreadable stare. What's next for our boy? Back at the barracks, Kraze immediately grilled him. Dude, did you seriously tick off the company commander? Incrid had zero clue, but Kraze kept pressing. Why him out of everyone? Incrid figured she wasn't planning to kill him. Her actual target, Krang, had pieced out already. Rem, our resident agent of chaos, asked if he was really going. Then he generously offered to help Incrid ditch it. Incrid scoffs. Like that time you attacked your own commander? But Rem waves it off. That's not what I'm going to tell you to do. Suddenly, Auden launched into a full-on drama act. He was tearfully begging them not to take their precious little squad leader away. Then Ragna's voice cut through the noise. I can go instead. The squad immediately shut him down. Incrid was like, anyone but you. While Rem deadpanned, are you actively trying to get lost? Jackson, calmly sharpening his knife, reminded them. The mission is scouting the tall grass, remember? His advice? Listen for changes in grass sounds. Spotting disturbances is key to dodging ambushes. This, of course, set Rem off. He yelled at Jackson, stop teaching Incrid weird stuff. Incrid knew they'd just evolve into chaos once he left. Was it right to ditch them? But even he had to admit, for this mission, nobody was better. He flashed back to his enlistment. His skills were so meh, he was just a glorified fill-in. The one place he actually fit, leading a squad of total leftovers. Not first picks, but definitely loud picks. Give it a rest, he tells everyone. Rem called him brave, or maybe stupid. Jackson shot back, your butt would be gone without him. Back in the present, Incrid knew his squad had skills. Honestly, he wasn't much combat power loss. No delusions here. He knew his stats. Time to grind and get better. Out in the field, Incrid joined the scout squad. Front lines, perfect place to level up his senses. Hey, you leftover squad leader. Focus. A voice snapped. It was Andrew Gardner, the scout squad leader. He basically challenged Incrid to a duel if he had a problem. Andrew's men piled on, sneering. His outcast squad? Can he even hold a sword right? Andrew smirked. Useless clown. Your squad only works cause of them. Then he launched into a motivational speech. Meet the enemy? We bash their skulls in. Motivational speaker of the year, apparently. And Crid was so unimpressed. This guy was totally green. This mission? Not gonna end well, he thought. Suddenly, a scout called out, "Tracks in the dirt." Andrew rushed over, super excited. These are new tracks, he screamed. He grinned maniacally, already planning a feast. Follow these tracks. Barbecue tonight, bro turned survival into a cookout. And Crid couldn't believe it. New travel in groups of 20 or more. This idiot wants to fight them? Confidence is high. Survival odds? Not so much. Another scout just sighed. Knew my butt. That's a gazelle. And Crid glanced at the archer. He looked utterly done with Andrew's shenanigans. That archer, Henry, found Andrew totally obnoxious. He and Encrid instantly clicked. They bonded fast. Henry even started teaching Encrid basic hunter skills. Later that night, Andrew was fuming. Entire day wasted on Phantom New. Andrew was desperate for results. Encrid just tried to ignore him from his bedroll. Next day, they hit their destination, the Green Pearl, aka the uselessly tall grass field. Andrew gave another gung-ho speech. Find the enemy scouts, bring them back as prisoners. Henry questioned the order, but Encrid just said, do it. Into the tall grass they went. Encrid was surprised. He expected Andrew to bail, but the dude was actually pushing forward. Encrid pointed out the obvious 0 animal droppings. Henry's face instantly went grim. No animals in a food-rich spot? Yeah, something was definitely wrong. Then, a massive clawed paw slammed right in front of them. Encrid's eyes went wide. He whipped his head around, heart pounding. He locked eyes with a huge black panther beast, glowing blue eyes. It was ready to maul Andrew. Get down, Encrid screamed, tackling Andrew to the dirt. Crossbow bolts whizzed through the air. 2 of the scouts are hit square in the head. Instant kill. Andrew stared, pure terror on his face. It's the enemy, he shrieked. The ambush was sprung. The entire scout squad was instantly surrounded, pure chaos. Yeah, the ambush was fully sprung. Encrid and his squad were totally boxed in by enemies. They definitely clocked that too late. Ambushed and surrounded, Encrid instantly taps his heightened senses in the tall grass. That listening techniques he learned from Jackson? Clutch. It's definitely coming in handy right now. But this ain't no perfect cheat code. The battlefield's just too damn loud, even for his super hearing. And helpful doesn't mean guaranteed win, apparently. He keeps his attention forward when suddenly the spear attack finds him from behind. He stands, frozen, as the spears pierce his body. Encrid knows the ambush is coming, but trying to warn Andrew and the others? Totally pointless. They'd never listen. So it's time for Encrid to figure out how to survive this solo. The ambush springs. He tries a different path. Nope, he's caught once again. But it's cool, he's got infinite retries. He dies. He resets. He dies. He resets. He dodges crossbows by going north, only to run straight into a whole squad of spearmen. Even when he evades them, they just won't quit. They're in green uniforms. It's the perfect ambush camo for this field. But why? What's so special about this spot? Finally, he sees a breakthrough. Through the grass, he glimpses the enemy's camp. And what happens next is brutal. An Aspen soldier executes him without hesitation. And that's game over. As he bleeds out, one burning question fills his mind. What are they hiding here? Back to the start of the day. Andrew Gardner rallies the troops, promising fat rewards. Same day, new delusion. But Encrid knows the truth. They've tried this dozens of times. It's a death trap. These Aspen jerks are definitely hiding something. Encrid has to find out what. For a moment, he considers giving up. No more dying. Maybe that's how the loop ends. Nope. Instant dismissal. Encrid won't run from this wall. Andrew, ever the Chad in his own mind, yells at Encrid for dawdling. A scarred soldier tries to smooth things over, telling Encrid to just go along with it. Encrid's had enough. Why? There's a limit to how much garbage I can tolerate from an idiot. The soldier is totally speechless, blindsided by the disrespect. But Encrid is resolute. I'm no longer playing this game. Andrew is livid, accusing him of disobeying orders. Encrid knows disobedience is a big no-no. He needs to reframe this whole situation. No more solo runs. This time he's using everyone's strengths to make it out alive. And from now on, he's giving the commands. Leader mode activated. Andrew is absolutely livid. Meanwhile, Encrid's busy sizing up his new team. That scarred soldier is definitely the most skilled here, but he's always sticking close to Andrew. Bodyguard vibes. Andrew, predictably, challenges him for command. Try to take it if you can beat me. Draw your sword. Encrid analyzes Andrew's stance. All theory, 0 practical experience. Gotta be some rich lord's son. No, wait, he's too eager for results. Maybe a fallen noble, desperate to prove himself. Andrew calls him out. You have pathetic skills but a weirdly high rank. You must be some loser who never trains but still expects a paycheck. Encrid thinks to himself, whatever he is, I can't keep following his orders. Andrew snaps, screaming that he has a mission to fulfill, but Incrid just cuts him off. Come at me, bro. I won't even need my sword. Andrew charges, enraged. Incrid knows he's technically skilled, but Andrew's clearly looking down on him. This carelessness is the only opening Incrid needs. He easily parries Andrew's sword. Bro didn't even blink. Then with a swift, powerful hit, he sends Andrew flying. It's over in an instant. Andrew is on the ground, spitting and totally defeated. The rest of the squad is absolutely floored. Henry heard this guy was a bottom-tier soldier. Incrid looks at his stunned squad. From now on, this squad is under my command. Any issues? Henry is still in shock. The scarred bodyguard eyes Incrid intensely for a moment. Andrew can only curse from the ground as the scarred soldier gives a silent, respectful nod. Command secured. Incrid looks ahead. This is just step one. He leads the squad into the Green Pearl, their field of death. The men follow, albeit nervously. Incrid turns to the archer. Henry, what's your dream? Henry is totally confused by the question, asking Incrid why he'd even want to know that. He admits his dream is to marry a beautiful woman who runs a flower shop. Incrid, staring ahead, just says, to do that, you'll need to survive today. Incrid then turns to another soldier. Your lover just had a baby, right? If you don't want your kid to grow up without a father, you need to make it out alive too. The others chime in. One wants to open his own business. Another just wants to get back home. Finally, all eyes are on Andrew Gardner. He says he needs to fulfill his mother's last wish. His mission, his dream, is to revive House Gardner. Incrid knows their responses are all the same. To achieve any of their dreams, they have to survive this mission. He looks back at his men, now united by a common goal. Let's make it out of here alive. The entire squad, even Andrew, now shares a look of grim resolve. Incrid knows there's nothing more motivating than life itself. The enemy is about to show up, and his plan, break right through them. He points to what seems like an empty patch of grass. Henry, shoot an arrow that way, head height. Incrid's glare is absolute. Shoot. Henry trusts him and lets the arrow fly straight into the head of a hidden enemy soldier. The squad is floored. They were walking right into an ambush. Without a second's pause, Incrid draws his sword and charges forward. Follow me, Andrew. Andrew, shocked but resolute, grits his teeth and follows close behind. Incrid's plan is simple. To fight with the upper hand, you have to be the one who strikes first. He leaps into the enemy lines, cutting down a soldier before they can even react. You don't survive an ambush. You become the ambush. Incrid bursts into the fray, stunning an enemy soldier who screams for his men to strike back. Too late. The blade flashes in a swift, lethal slice across the man's throat. His strategy is simple. Exploit their confusion to thin the herd. Fast. He knows if Andrew follows, their chances of survival skyrocket. Andrew has no choice. Down to 8 men, the enemy is fully nerfed. The tides have turned. The ambushers are now panicking, screaming for help as Incrid's squad descends like a hungry wolf pack. He leads the charge, his makeshift unit rallied and ready for a real fight. His orders are simple and brutal. Kill them all. And just like that, the slaughter begins. Incrid explains this tall grass hides everyone. That's why the enemy found them first. But wait, what's that creature? Turns out they weren't after the scouts at all. They were hunting a panther. One soldier curses the beast, trying to take it down with a spear. Too late. Incrid strikes first. That's when Incrid connects the dots. The enemy stumbled on his unit while chasing the panther. This time, the panther's distraction lets his squad flip the script. Incrid decides his furry little accomplice won't die easily. With the last enemy dispatched, Henry shouts that they're finished. No time wasted. Incrid orders them out, sparing a glance for the panther now following close behind. They suffered 1 casualty, leaving 6. Incrid muses that even with infinite retries, he couldn't save everyone. Still, this is his most successful run yet. They press onward. Thanks to countless repetitions, he knows every enemy's exact number and location. He knows going straight means 30 crossbowmen, so he orders a hard right, bypassing the ambush entirely. The plan, hit-and-run tactics, taking out key targets like spearmen to break the enemy's encirclement piece by piece. The constant fighting takes its toll. Andrew looks like he's about to collapse. The sun is setting, they need to escape now, or risk being trapped in the dark. Time to speedrun this. But instead of the exit, Incrid leads them deeper into the field. His men are confused, but Incrid insists this is the only way. He shuts down argument, his expression unyielding. Just follow me. One of the soldiers, the bearded dude, has had enough, stopping Incrid with a blade to his throat. You should act right, Captain. He refuses to follow Incrid to his death. He'll kill him if he has to, just to survive. Incrid coolly replies that he should know better. It's already too late to turn back. He explains their retreat path is swarmed by enemies. Following him is their only option. Then, he says, I want to survive too. Andrew watches, his entire perception of Incrid shifting. He'd written him off as useless trash. Just another failure like his own father who drank away their wealth and gave up on everything. But that wasn't it at all. This new commander reminds him of someone else, He remembers visiting his father on his deathbed. His father said their noble house was finished. His father's dying wish for Andrew to become a leader, earn trust, and rebuild their family's name. In Crid, he's the kind of man Andrew's always wanted to be, a man who paves the way. And Crid's voice cuts through the memory. Trust me, we will survive this place. That's all Andrew needs. I trust you, he says, Captain Incrid. The other soldier starts to object, but Andrew cuts him off. Incrid is the captain now. The squad follows the orders of its captain. The dissenting soldier falls silent. The matter is settled. With his authority secured, Incrid gives the order, follow him, stay low, wait for his signal. Incrid's plan unfolds. Step 1, ambush the enemy and break their encirclement. Now for step 2. The squad moves forward, stopping suddenly at a clearing. The ground ahead is covered in thousands of arrows. The men are speechless. This is it, the critical passage Incrid found after dying dozens of times. It only exists at this exact time, in this exact place. A hidden path that lets them slip past the enemy without a single fight. And just as predicted, huge enemy patrols march right by, completely oblivious. The squad stays low, holding their breath as the enemy passes just feet away. Everything has gone exactly according to plan. Now, for the last step. As night falls, Incrid reveals why they failed to escape this field every single time before. Emerging from the tall grass, he announces to his shocked squad, "We've arrived." The squad's faces fall into despair. No escape route here. They're staring right at the enemy's main camp. Incrid knows why this place is a kill zone. The enemy hides something here, slaughtering anyone who gets close. A closer look reveals a horrifying truth. Their flags are made from the bones of their victims. His logic is simple. What happens when something more important than catching them occurs? With cold resolve, Incrid gives the order, let's go. He's betting if they create enough chaos, an escape path will open. And with that, he leads the charge. You're actually going to set the whole enemy camp on fire? Incrid is asked. The guy argues it's insane, a total wipe. But Incrid ignores him completely. What's your name? Mac, the guy says. Incrid snaps that he won't tolerate disobedience from Mac. Bro is in charge and is taking his role seriously. Be quiet, Mac, Andrew says coldly, shutting him down. Mac is fuming. The squad storms ahead. No moon tonight. Mac knows they can't rely on basic navigation. In this mess, there's only one guy to trust, Incrid. He's the main character after all. Suddenly, Incrid goes full Chad and slices right through a tent wall. The squad is shook. Mac's mind is blown. Did he just rip through a tent? Wild. They leap through the tier. Inside, completely empty. Total ghost town. How did Incrid know it was empty? Bro's got insider info. Incrid's being reckless, charging through enemy lines like a maniac. Mac's not impressed. But oddly enough, they haven't seen a single enemy soldier. Sus. They're deep in enemy territory. 0 guards. What in the actual heck is going on? Squad halts before a super gruesome display. Bones and tattered flags. Not a good vibe. Incrid gives a knowing look. Wait here, folks. He's got a secret. He's infiltrated this camp dozens of times already. He remembers his first rookie mistake with that flag. Entire base immediately went aggro on him. Instant death. He explains to Mac, this flag is what the Aspen soldiers hide. Protecting it is their main objective. The camera pans over the gnarly scene. Impaled skulls, rotting banners, scattered bones. It's a big deal. Mac is shook. Did Incrid know this flag was here already? How is that even possible? He wonders if the company commander spilled the tea. She did appoint this rando to the squad. Incrid continues his genius explanation. The Aspen soldiers will be too busy simping for the flag. No time to chase them. Mac connects the dots. Incrid's sudden takeover, this secret mission, bro is playing chess, not checkers. Incrid says they'll escape. He drops the battle plan. We'll split into 2 groups. One will be the bait, and the other will start the fire. Mac volunteers immediately. I'll be with the bait group. Bro loves danger. Incrid's a little shook by Mac's speedrun acceptance. Surprised, Incrid finds it sus, but figures it's a win for him anyway. Incrid's done this loop a million times, but now he has actual teammates. Wild. This is probably the best today he's ever had. He's feeling pretty good. Yeah, he got this. Whiz, a weapon flies, silently taking out a patrolling guard. Stealth kill achieved. The alarm is raised. Intruders, the game is on. Soldiers pour out, yelling, get those punks. Chaos mode activated. While the bait team gets swarmed, Incrid sprints towards a large lit brazier. He reaches out, his bandaged fingers grasping the fiery torch. No pain, no gain. He's hyped to finally beat this level. Ready to move on to tomorrow. Suddenly, a massive, shadowy figure looms over him, blocking his path. Uh-oh. The warrior swings a giant weapon, slicing the torch. Sparks fly. Incrid's sweating bullets. He didn't hear a thing. A new enemy? He's never seen this guy in any previous loops. New patch update. Incrid's stunned by this beefy new foe. The enemy snarls, you rat. Rude. But Incrid notices something. They're late? What's he cooking? The enemy leader is baffled by that comment. Same, bro. A massive fire erupts across camp. The flaming arrow hit its mark. The camp goes wild. Fire! The tents are burning. More intruders spotted. Guards scramble to catch them all. The plan is flawless. Mac and Andrew created the diversion. Now Encred just needs to make his escape. Just one final boss stands in his way. Game on. He recalls his core training. All attacks start from the foot. Fundamentals, people. Kick against the ground to propel your body forward. Simple physics. Devastating results. As the enemy commander points and shouts orders, Encred sees his opening. Rookie mistake. I can see it. The gap in his defense. Get wrecked. Oops. The target sees the incoming sword at the last second. Encred looks like he's just seen a ghost. Did his plan seriously just fall apart? The sword slices through empty air in front of the target's face. So much for that plan. Encred looks down in shock. Plot twist. Blood bursts from his own torso. The enemy got him. Oh no. He stumbles back, groaning. That was the most perfect stab I could muster. He realizes with chilling certainty, this guy's built different. Weak, the enemy tells him. I can't beat him. Not at my current skill level, Encred tells himself. Major skill issue. A montage of his past deaths flashes. All that grinding just to get clapped again. Encred thought he'd beaten the day. Nope, this massive warrior, the real boss fight, the true wall. He knows it's hopeless. If he challenges him now, he's just going to die again. Another respawn. Cycle will continue. Take over the squad. Escape, repeat. Groundhog Day, but with swords. After all those meaningless deaths, the enemy just stares, confused. Bro's acting weird. The enemy's like, you're laughing? And Crid's face splits into a wild, borderline insane grin. He makes a chilling promise. I'm going to beat you. Get ready. But the commander just scoffs. Shut up and be food for the dogs. He's not impressed. Encred doesn't care. He has remaining strength. He'll beat this wall no matter the death count. Encred didn't care. He went for it, meeting the commander's blade head-on. Sparks flew. Bro was stunned. He actually parried my attack? What a noob. Enraged, the behemoth brought his massive blade down in a brutal arc. But Encred was already moving, dodging the devastating blow. The enemy goes straight for Encred again, the attack skimming just past his face. Their blades met again. Encred felt the pressure. Gotta admit, this guy's movements were fast and precise. He was stuck on defense, zero opening to counter. The skill gap was just too massive. Switching tactics, Encred hurled a dagger right at the enemy. The warrior just casually swatted it away with the back of his hand. Seriously, bro? Encred couldn't believe it. Done playing games, the hulking warrior charged for the final strike. Meanwhile, the fire Encred's team set was spreading way faster than expected. Total chaos. Our heroes are still in the thick of a life-or-death battle. One of the Aspen soldiers screamed, someone poured oil here. Bro, somebody cheesed it. The flames raced towards their main flag, a huge symbol of their company. Hooded soldiers screamed for the platoon commander, panicking hard about the flag. But the commander ignored the fire. He locked onto Encred, realizing this guy isn't going down easy. Encred stared back, eyes cold. You, the enemy said calmly. I'll see you again. Total Chad energy. Then the commander just turned and walked away. Encred was stunned. He's backing off? That's it? Bro really said, I'm out. He wondered if that guy wasn't even the true wall he was meant to overcome. Was that it for the final boss? He gripped hard on his weapon. Nah, even if not the final boss. I still need to improve. Gotta grind more. Andrew snapped him out of it, yelling, Squad leader, we need to go now. Squad leader, Andrew shouts again, trying to snap the distracted Encred back to reality. His gaze fixes on the raging flames. The enemy is gone. With a decisive click, he sheathed his sword. We're retreating. The squad ran for their lives, escaping the burning camp and plunging into dark woods. They already lost a man. Only 5 remain now. One soldier panicked. Will they chase us? Encred, our resident optimist, calmly said, probably not. Encred's men are hurt and exhausted, yet they continue fleeing for their lives as the enemy closes in. The squad fought desperately, meeting the enemy head-on. Encred's squad cut down one pursuer, then another, never broke their stride. He screamed at the others, don't hesitate, keep running. One of his men's plan is to run straight into the field fox and snake habitat. He gave a confident grin. I know a safe route, a hunter's path. Trusting him fully, Encred yelled, guide us. They veered off the main trail. Just as Encred predicted, the sounds of pursuit faded away. They finally stopped to catch their breath. It was the squad's combined efforts that saved them. Encred then raised his gaze to the horizon. The sun was rising. A new day had truly begun. Ragged, exhausted squads stumbled back into camp, shocking everyone. Henry mutters, I'm going to pass out now. The poor dude was totally wiped. Andrew looks exhausted too. Encred, however, stood tall. A feeling of triumph washed over him. Another today passed. He'd finally broken the loop. Victory Royale. Back at the enemy camp, a cloaked figure reported to a stern commander amidst their burnt flag wreckage. This was the Grey Dog Company commander, and he was pressed. He couldn't believe his famed unit was owned by a few small fry. His best men were there, yet a handful of enemies broke through, started a fire, and escaped. How? The Grey Dog is an independent company known for their persistent temperament. Once they lock onto a target, they never let go. Serious stalkers, basically, whether in love or in war. For this, they're also called the persistent lovers. Obsessive much? Our new villain faction just dropped. The commander asked his subordinate, Mitch Hurrier, about the guy he faced. Mitch insisted Encred only got away because of the fire. He was coping hard. His superior called it luck, a skill in itself. He made it crystal clear that mistake won't happen again. Elsewhere, Encred sat in the infirmary, tending to his hands after the grueling mission. He couldn't stop thinking about that unbeatable wall. He wished he could have kept fighting that boss. He knew their paths would cross again, eventually, leveling up for round 2. At the same time, Mitch Hurrier made a grim promise to kill his target with his own 2 hands. These two are living rent-free in each other's heads. Miles away, Encred made his own vow. The hunt was on. The persistent lovers has officially set their sights on the new target as well. Your side quest just dropped, Encred. Back in the barracks, Rem, the Chad of boredom, is just chilling. He's bored AF, waiting for his squad leader to return from a recon mission. Bro wonders if Encred just got clapped. He's like, yeah, Encred's improving, but he's still kinda a noob. Low-key though, he kinda liked the guy. Suddenly, Ragna wakes up. His eyes land right on Rem, who's staring right back at him. Ragna asks what he's staring at. Rem's response? A swift middle finger. Ragna, not to be outdone, returns the favor with his foot. Peak friendship goals. Rem's playful vibe vanishes. He's got a savage grin now. Hey, he says, lunging forward, I want to kill you. Just guy things. Meanwhile, Encred finally made it back to main camp. He's having a final chat with Andrew Gardner. Andrew drops a heartfelt apology. He thanks Encred for saving his life, wondering if their paths will ever cross again. Creed, ever the mysterious one, just drops a vague, if our paths cross. Then he pieces out, leaving the scouts to cope. Walking through camp, Encred does some self-reflection. He saved 4 lives, but 2 were lost. The mission had a body count. If only he had more DPS, he thinks. He could have saved them all. This L just boosts his grind. To hit his dream of becoming a knight and break this endless death loop, he knows the meta. Get stronger, duh. Suddenly, total chaos. A soldier yells, those jerks are at it again. It's Rem and Ragna, going full beast mode in a brutal sparring match. They're fighting with an intensity Encred has never witnessed. Faces twisted in pure battle lust. It's giving main boss fight energy. Watching this, Encred has an epiphany. They've been softballing him this whole time. A nearby soldier even calls them animals. Okay, so they never rated him as a serious threat. A new quest objective just popped into his brain. He needs to level up until they finally look at him with those crazy beast mode eyes. He wants that challenge. As the 2 squad members fight as if their lives depend on it, Ragna suddenly senses Encred's presence. Rem asks why Encred decided to show up only now. Ragna notices Encred's injuries, but Encred seems more interested in commenting on the fight he just witnessed. Encred then pivots to Ragna, asking about his last move. Ragna gets super defensive, saying it was nothing. Sus much? Encred decides to let it slide. Ragna will spill the tea when he's ready. Meanwhile, the battalion is on the move, moving closer to the tall grass fields after the enemy's ambush. Even with wounds, Encred is grinding like it's a new season battle pass. Kreis tells him to chill, but Encred ignores him. Rem says he'll get nerfed if he keeps this up. Ragna, he just eats his snacks in silence. Next morning, Ragna wakes up. Encred's bunk is already empty. Of course, he's out training again. Ragna picks up his own sword. For him, strength was easy mode. Almost too easy. It just got boring. He had 0 ambition to be a knight, so it all felt meaningless. Bro lost his main quest objective. He spots Encred nearby, practicing a lunge so hard he hurts himself, panting like he just ran a marathon. Ragna silently roasts Encred's form. He thinks his fundamentals are trash and he'll never get better. But then, he pauses. Even with the terrible form and total exhaustion, Encred instantly grabs his sword to go again. His eyes are just burning with pure, unyielding resolve. Finally compelled, Ragna asks him, why do you do all this? Encred's answer is peak gamer logic. Because I want to become stronger. Ragna presses him. What's the endgame once you're stronger? Encred's goal is crystal clear. Become a knight. Ragna scoffs, calling a knight just some dude who's good at fighting. He can't compute why that title means so much to Encred. It's giving no ambition vibes. Encred finally drops some lore on his ideal. For him, being a knight isn't just about having high stats. It's about deciding what's right, raising your sword for honor, and protecting your squad. Ragna thought it was all about honor and clout. He sees strength as just a utility spell. He's having an existential crisis. What even is a sword for? What does he actually want out of life? Suddenly, it clicks. He stands up, deciding he needs to figure it out for himself. New side quest accepted. He marches right over to Encrid, calling him leader. Character development much? With a new fire in his eyes, Ragna asks, "Want to learn how to actually use a sword?" Encrid's about to get a free tutorial. Ragna has found a purpose again. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Later, Encrid faces the company commander. She's not buying his story one bit. He recaps his impossible mission success, but all he's got is, "I just got lucky." Right. He just stares, repeating, "lucky," with full-on disbelief. And Crid's poker face is on point, though. She finally dismisses him. "Go rest up, you clearly broke something in there," she basically says. She admits she had a hunch about Encrid, but not this kind of pulled off a literal miracle. Incredible. Bro is clearly built different. And because Bro is built different, his intense training arc begins now. With his tutor, Ragna. Ragna's already regretting it, muttering about getting lazy. Classic teacher move, am I right? But then he sees Encrid's face full of main character energy. Bro is locked in. Ragna thinks, this might actually be interesting. A moment of positive thought from a crusty mentor. Ragna asks what Rem taught him. Encrid's got the heart of the beast and his signature stab. Ditch everything but those two, Ragna instructs, holding up 2 fingers like it's that easy. Encrid's like, even my Valen mercenary technique? Ragna just deadpans, especially that one. Ouch. Ragna warns him, keep old habits and he'll just revert. Might as well quit now, loser. It's a choice, reset or stay mid. Encrid, without missing a beat, picks start fresh. Ragna's shook. Really, Encrid, ever the tryhard, immediately asks, what's first? Encrid stands ready for the grind. Ragna can only think, yeah, this dude is not normal. We knew that, Ragna. First lesson, swords. Ragna decides a long sword is better and hands over his own. Dismisses Encrid's concerns like, it's not special, chill. Then immediately critiques his grip. Keep your right hand above your left hand, he instructs Encrid. Ragna asks about the death grip. Encrid blames Rem, figures. Ragna mutters, useless monkey B-word, then tells Encrid to get ready. The passive aggression is real. And just like that, Ragna swings his sword. No chill. The blunt sword connects hard with Encrid's weapon. Oof. Encrid whines about the pain, but Ragna's like, yeah, that's the point, bro. Cold. He explains a stiff grip makes him rigid, like a tree branch that just snaps. Pretty deep for Ragna. Encrid's just confused by the awful metaphor. Why are all his squadmates so bad at explaining stuff? Still, he gets it. Be flexible or lose your sword. He finally loosens his white-knuckle grip. The training is a brutal whirlwind. Ragna's constantly on him, correcting every step and swing. Encrid's still stiff as a board. Want to break your wrist? Ragna barks. Are you trying to dance? Encrid finally collapses, totally gassed. Ragna just laughs, realizing how absolutely clueless bro is. Zero basics? Ragna thinks this level of noob can't even be coached. Meanwhile, Encrid is gasping for air on the dirt. But then Encrid grips his sword tight. He pulls himself back up. Ragna is speechless. Encrid, with pure protagonist grit, just demands, again, level up time. Ragna raises his sword. Okay, baby steps this time. Suddenly, Rem interrupts. He asks if they're having a picnic. Rem offers to handle the worthless jerk for Encrid. Ragna just threatens, I'ma cut your hands off. Oh, these two. Chill out, guys. Encrid, clueless, asks why Rem's dressed up. Rem drops the news, we're being summoned. Back in the barracks, Kreis is prepping for battle. Words out, enemy forces are massing. Uh-oh. On a ridge, a massive army assembles, a sea of spears. The squad stands grim-faced. This is gonna be rough. Ragna watches Encrid, doubt in his eyes. He wonders if teaching him was a massive mistake, fearing his death. Ragna decides his leader needs backup. He's ready to babysit him through this mess. Soldiers murmur, staring at the enemy, and Crid, a total battle nerd, is just like, cool formation, I want to learn that. The enemy forms a disciplined phalanx, tattered banners flapping ominously. From their ranks, a cloaked figure steps forward, hand raised. This is the end, they declare. Cue the dramatic music. Suddenly, a thick fog blankets the battlefield. The Elven Company Commander Batty is stunned, realizing it's a spell. The mist is impossibly thick. Encrid can't even see his squadmates right next to him. Spooky. Panic erupts. Soldiers are blind, shouting in the disorienting haze. This is bad. Encrid's senses pick up a faint sound. Others hear it too, a strange whistling. Not a good whistle. The whistle gets louder. Soldiers look around in alarm, trying to find the source. Encrid's eyes widen in horror. He screams, arrows! Oh no! A deadly rain of arrows pierces the fog, slaughtering unprepared soldiers. It's a massacre. The company commander finally realizes the fog was a total trap. Raise your shields, she screams, but it's too late. The cloaked enemy mage cackles, boasting about their difficult spell. Typical villain move. They call it the Fog of Annihilation. Blinds everyone unless you're near their special flags. Each hurrier approaches, asking if the caster's happy. The mage is, but complains one flag almost got burned down. Mitch is livid. He knows exactly who messed with the flag. That jerk, he says. My money's on Encred. Back on the battlefield, Encred stands unharmed, surrounded by arrows, sword ready, a determined look on his face. Built different indeed. Just as the fog of annihilation fully hits, a volley of arrows screams through the haze. Someone shouts, "Get down!" Then Rem confirms it's a magic spell. Encred's totally blind. Can't see his squadmates even if they're literally right next to him. He tries to get ready, but his entire body just locks up. Breathing heavy, hands trembling, his legs are straight up frozen. He can't use anything Ragna taught him. Then, a flashback. Ragna warned him, old habits will get you unalived. Ragna's lesson was simple. On the battlefield, it's either you fight or you're toast. Back in the fog, Rem is screaming, trying to snap Encred out of his funk. Too late. An enemy pops out of the mist and impales him with a spear. Ouch. He grins. Another death, another lesson. Time to hit the training loop again. The enemy screams and drives the spear deeper. Double tap, loop reset, and Crid's back training with Ragna, who's super frustrated and isn't that great of a teacher. Ragna is a genius, so the basics are too obvious for him to explain. Like, duh. He realizes Ragna isn't even roasting him, so Encred asks, where should my center of gravity be? Ragna awkwardly tries to demonstrate, proving Encred's theory. Geniuses just do it, no tutorial, just raw skill. New strategy unlocked. Encred will use his observation skills to memorize Ragna's moves, no matter how many loops it takes. Another loop. Arrows fly. This time, Encred tries to parry them head-on. Still too stiff. Body locked. An arrow slips right past his guard. He accepts it. Just die, learn, repeat. Arrow straight to the neck. Brutal. The grind is real. 31 identical days later, Encred finally gets flexible movement down. Ragna is actually impressed, like genuinely. Says Encred's finally ready for the basics. Ragna starts teaching. Cut, stab, slash. The holy trinity of sword fighting, folks. It's all about blocking your opponent while extending your own attack. Basic Combat Strategy 101. Another loop. Back in the foggy arena, an enemy spearman charges again. Training is paying off. Encred feels light, thinking easy dodge. But he isn't vigilant enough. A hail of arrows comes flying at him, piercing straight through his chest and out his back. Classic noob mistake. Another death, another lesson. But slowly his today starts changing. In training, he perfectly parries Ragna's strike. Ragna is totally shook. How did Encred even track that sword? One step at a time. He dies again, but next loop, he lands a flawless diagonal slash. Ragna can only stare, muttering, that technique, it's perfect now. All those little bits add up. He dies, and he dies again, but each time, it's major progress. Eventually, their sparring sessions become an actual battle of equals. Whoa. He fights against Ragna's sword, confusing Ragna with his unexpected movements. He's built different now. On the 100th today, Ragna is completely speechless. Encred's growth is literally impossible. Staring wide-eyed, disbelieving, he finally asks the question everyone's thinking. Who are you? Ragna no longer sees a clumsy recruit. The entire dynamic just shifted. Ragna calls out, confused, but Encred just charges headfirst into the fray. Tunnel vision, much? He's powered up, easily sidestepping a spear that would have unalived him 100 times before. Eyes locked, he sprints through chaos, a guy reborn through endless deaths and hardcore training. A confident, almost terrifying grin spreads across his face. This is the grind to knighthood, y'all. Even with his new skills, the battlefield is pure chaos. He dodges one enemy, then gets speared by another. Brutal spawn camping. But even with a fatal wound, he finds something beyond the pain. A crazed, blood-soaked smile spreads across his face. He realizes this is actually fun. Like so much fun he could go feral. Loop reset. Back in the sunny training yard, Ragna approaches him again. He looks at Encred seriously and asks, do you want to learn the sword? Encred's got that main character energy. If it means getting stronger, he'll respawn as many times as needed. No cap. And so, with each death, he levels up. He's back in the fog, but now, he's a blur of motion, weaving through attacks that used to one-shot him. Ragna tells him to fall back, but Encred just ignores him. He's found the cheat code. Ragna is shook. He literally can't believe Encred's sudden glow-up. Ragna even asks if Encred was just sandbagging before. You've got all the basics down, he told our MC. Ragna thinks Encred just needs more IRL experience. But Encred's eyes, they're screaming, main character arc loading. Back to the foggy battlefield. Arrows are raining like it's a server lag glitch. He's lived this day like 200 times. And guess what? Another arrow's got his name on it. But this ain't his first rodeo. He plants his foot, then blasts off into a full sprint. He ducks a wild swing, pure focus mode activated. Time to see if his new skills are actually cracked. Then a spearman tries to attack him, going for the full skewer, but Encrid just dodges like a pro. The enemy's shocked as Encrid just parries it like it's nothing. Bro's got the map hacks from all those loops. He knows every spawn point in this fog. He's hitting enemies he can't even see. Talk about next level intuition. A clean slice, and a soldier pops out of the mist, instantly getting sent to the lobby. The poor dude's last words are just a confused, "Who? LOL." Another soldier hears the noise, turns around, but it's just fog. Classic horror movie trope. And whoosh, and Crid's there, taking him out before he can even flinch. More clashing steel alerts the whole squad. They're like, what in the world is happening? Then, a warning screeches through the fog. The ground, below you, watch out. Ragna's voice echoes in his mind. Eyes, feet, hands. The basics are always key. Eyes predict, feet move, and hands finish. And Creed nails it, driving his sword right through an enemy. Brutal. Covered in blood, he lets out a crazy laugh. Mastering the basics has him feeling built different. Dodges another attack, then screams into the fog, "Come at me, bro." Instantly, a squad of crossbowmen materializes, surrounding him. Their leader scoffs, "You're not making it out alive, kid." And Creed just pants, catching his breath, not even sweating it. He just wants to keep grinding, challenging them to a real sword fight, like actual men. The enemy leader is shook by Encrid's sheer insanity, muttering, "This dude's unhinged." Just like that, a volley of bolts hits him. Game over. Again. He drifts into the familiar dark void. Welcome to the respawn screen. A booming voice, the NPC of the afterlife, calls him a foolish mortal, says he walked right into his own grave. It's the ghostly ferryman, literally the grim reaper of this game, telling him he's lost his mind. And Crid snaps awake in his cot, loop reset. Let's go again. He sits up, totally baffled. Wait, did that ghost just pop in to trash talk me? Bro got visited by a generational hater. Rem pulls him from his thoughts, asking why he's zoning out. Suddenly, a massive brainwave hits Encrid. He remembers how the enemy always guarded a specific flag. He turns to Rem, the lore master, and asks, "Yo, you know anything about spells?" Rem's a little confused, but Encrid just says he's curious. Spells are the new meta, apparently. Bro's like swords, cool, but have you considered wizardry? Rem agrees and starts his lesson. First, what's the difference between magic and spells? Rem explains that magic is common, but a spell always needs a medium. A physical anchor, basically. And just like that, it all clicks for Encrid. The medium, that's the secret sauce. The fog is the enemy's spell, so that weird flag has to be the medium. It all makes sense now. Destroy the flag, and the fog spell gets dispelled. Big brain moves Encrid, and Crid connects the dots. Hey Rem, your tribe used spells, right? Since they're from the West? Rem grins, confirming he's seen them. But he says most spellcasters are just basic hexcasters. Info secured. Encrid gets up to leave. Rem asks, "Where are you off to now, boss?" "To train," Encrid replies, giving a confident look over his shoulder. Grind never stops. Back in the training yard, Ragna tells Encrid their training styles are kinda similar. This makes Ragna ask if Encrid's ever heard of the Oniak sword technique. Ragna starts a story from 500 years ago, about a 1 in a million prodigy. After losing his parents, this boy, Leonesis Oniak, the sword goat, was adopted by a noble who heard his legend. As gifted as he was, Leonesis was also hit with a major debuff, a curse. His strength faded by age 10. By 12, he was fully paralyzed. His potential was basically nerfed into oblivion. But at age 20, paralyzed and all, Leonesis went full Chad. He cataloged every sword technique into 5 categories. There was the righteous, elaborate sword, the heavy, strong, the flowing, confounding, and the fast, swift. The 5th was the gentle, parrying sword. Together they were the Oniak sword technique. Bro collected sword styles like infinity stones. This technique became the absolute foundation of all swordsmanship. The Oniak family, they became empire royalty. Ragna explains his own technique branches from the northern heavy sword style. Ragna tries to guess the name, the conscience? Ragna's like, nah fam, it's the heart of the beast. He says this is way more useful. The key? Hyper-focus on one point. Forget everything but your sword and theirs. Lesson over. Ragna says, time for a live demo and lunges. Ragna's lesson starts with a lightning-fast strike, aimed right at Encrid's face, not messing around. Encrid dodges, but barely. The blade slices a shallow gash across his neck, almost a fatality. He stumbles back, clutching his neck. That strike was faster than Rem's axe. He nearly went full ragdoll. Ragna is completely unfazed. Did you feel anything? He asks. Before Encrid can answer, Rem storms in, absolutely fuming. You sicko. He gets right in Ragna's face, demanding if he's trying to off their squad leader. Bro really said, explain yourself right now. Ragna casually explains people focus better near death. He was helping. Rem's not having it, yelling, a decapitated man learns nothing, you barbarian. Crid has heard enough. He's like, you're both pretty trash at teaching though. Rem then calls Ragna a barbarian from the far north. Ragna shoots back that Rem is from the southern tribes himself. As Rem winds up for a full-on brawl, Encrid shuts it down. Enough. You're here for the departure order, right? Ragna gives some last-minute advice. Remember that hyper-alertness you feel right before you die? He says if Encrid can hyper-focus on one point, everything else fades. His sword will just do things. As Encrid marches to the battlefield, he mulls over Ragna's words. It's like the heart of the beast, but not. The beast numbs you. This makes you sharper. He realizes he needs more practice to recalibrate. More grinding, basically. And he knows exactly how to get that XP. His eyes lock onto his new objective, the spell's medium. That flag. Just then the enemy shaman raises a tattered flag. A thick, magical fog pours onto the field. To escape this brutal slaughter, he has to dispel that cursed fog. Allied soldiers instantly panic. They're screaming, totally blind in the fog. But Encrid's not sweating. He's got a new objective beyond just leveling up. Destroy that flag. Without a second thought, he breaks formation. Full send into the enemy-filled mist. He knows teaming up with Rem and Ragna is the smarter option, but he pushes forward on his own. He slams his sword down, cleaving through a soldier. One down. He's going to keep pushing, keep fighting, until he literally can't anymore. Bro's been respawning like crazy. To avoid a permadeath on the battlefield, he grinded his senses against assassins. To own his nemesis, he mastered the heart of the beast. But Ragna's lesson on hyper-focusing on one single point? Yeah, that's still kicking Encrid's butt. Ragna demonstrates, his sword stopping inches away from Encrid's face. No cap, that's close. Get it now? Ragna asks. If you landed a hit, you'd feel the blade slow down. Encrid is just lost. He wonders if the Heart of the Beast power-up is glitching his focus. Ragna shrugs that off. He explains everything but the opponent's weapon should just fade away, letting Encrid predict its path. Encrid realizes channeling fear, isn't it? He asks Ragna how he mastered this skill. Learn what? I could always just do it, Ragna deadpans. Of course, the Chad was just born with it. Bro came out with the premium package. No useful tips from Ragna. Encrid decides he'll have to figure this out solo. But for now, his main quest is simple. Take down that enemy flag. The battle plan is OP, minimize allied losses, and punch a hole straight through their lines. As the fog rolls in, panic spreads through the soldiers. What? I can't see anything. But this time, Encrid is ready. Everyone, get down, he screams. His squad instantly drops. He bellows, shields. A deadly arrow rain pours down, thudding into their shields and the ground. Thanks to countless reps, he knows where every attack will land, even with his eyes closed. It's basically autopilot now. He moves like a ghost in the mist. Before the enemy can even process it, Encrid pivots and drives his sword through the man's head. It becomes a whirlwind of death, effortlessly cutting down 2 more ambushers. The enemies are terrified. That's insane. He's just one guy. He carves a path, a one-man army against a sea of NPCs. An enemy commander tries to rally his squad. Get a hold of yourselves. Stop that maniac. But Encrid, rocking a crazy grin, is already on him. His eyes glow with an unnerving light as he preps his landing. His only goal is the flag. It took 10 days just to get here, but he's finally at the flag. He slices it down, but something's off. He's sure it's gone, yet the fog stays. Suddenly, multiple spears impale him. Oof, an enemy gloats over his body. You know some spells, but you've been bamboozled. As Encrid dies again, he learns the brutal truth. There are 5 decoy flags. Only one is real. Bro fell for the oldest trick in the book. He'll have to find the real one among them. The loop resets. Again, his squad is shook. Squad leader, you're charging in solo? But Encrid knows the drill. He's got a 1 in 5 shot this time. He screams his now familiar warning. Get down! Shields! Soldiers are just as confused as ever. I can't see what's happening. Once again, arrows fly. Encrid raises his shield, blocking the volley like a pro. But this time, his men don't listen. They get absolutely clapped. He wonders why they ignored him. Maybe his timing was off. He needs a moment to let them catch their breath. 3 days later, he reaches the second flag. Fake. He's killed and resets. 4 more to go. It takes 4 more days to reach the 3rd flag, only to get skewered by spears. Another fake. RNG is not on his side. The 4th flag takes him 7 days to reach. Same result. Another death, another fake. 2 flags left. Looking out over the battlefield, he has to make a big brain choice. He makes his decision. Logic dictates the most important target would be the best protected. Duh. So he's got to assume the furthest one is the real deal. This time he's going all in on that final flag. No detours. The loop begins again. Fog rolls in. Soldiers panic. Encrid shouts his warnings. The perfect timing pays off. The soldiers raise their shields just in time. Arrow volley successfully blocked. First wave survived. Encrid turns to his powerhouse. Rem, follow me. Rem is shocked. Huh? Are you tripping? No time to argue. Incrid can't get nerfed before the flag, he needs a distraction. His plan is simple. Rem grabs all the aggro, and Incrid slips by in the chaos. Rem grabs an enemy demanding to know who cast the spell. Bro is not messing around. Can't talk, huh? Next one it is, Rem snarls, crushing the man's throat. As the enemy screams, Incrid slips past unnoticed. He's been repeating this day for over a year, after all. He sprints towards the final flag. This is his singular objective, his white whale. But now, it's the end for this fog. No more respawns. Another blade appears, blocking his own just as he's about to strike the flag. Plot twist. The attack comes from none other than Mitch Hurrier, the commander from before. Mitch tells him, "God has answered my prayers." Cringe much? Mitch Hurrier's voice is dripping with venom, so dramatic. He growls, "I wanted to kill you with my own hands." Incrid just stares back, totally unbothered. He asks flatly, "Who are you?" Absolute savage. Mitch is stunned for a second, caught completely off guard. He's really not used to being forgotten. "You forgot me?" he shouts. "It's only been a few days." Bro, to Incrid, it's been a year. Incrid is dead serious. He stares at him, waiting for the guy to reveal his identity. Peak comedy. Mitch Hurrier stares down, absolutely fuming. Incrid, unfazed, is still like, "Bro, who are you for real?" Mitch doesn't answer. He just moves, launching himself sword first at Incrid. Incrid is on a whole different level, eyes wild with focus. Incrid leaps, slipping past the sword with swift footwork. Incrid thrusts his sword forward, but Mitch slips past it with equal speed. Mitch's eyes widen in shock. He cannot believe it. This dude's not just better, he's on a whole new tier. Mitch grits his teeth, baffled. "Trying to catch me in one move, bro?" The soldiers flip through the air, blades clashing, sparks flying everywhere. Incrid analyzes, realizing Mitch is mixing legit sword techniques with this weird, flowy style. They clash, swords kissing in a shower of sparks. One tiny slip, and it's over. Flag? War? Nope. Incrid goes full tunnel vision, eyes on the enemy only. His sword takes over. Everything fades, just the blades remain. In this peak concentration, their swords meet in a perfect block. The blades clash. Boom, a brilliant flash of light. But for Incrid, the world just spins. He's been run through. Mitch stabs him. He coughs out blood. He gets it now. Mitch pulled off the perfect counter. His vision fades, then it clicks. "Oh, it's you, flagpole dude, Mitch Hurrier." With his last breath, Incrid introduces himself. "I'm the Nalilia Kingdom's squad commander." One of Mitch's men asks if Incrid is an enemy. Mitch confirms, calling him a stealth specialist. Mitch looks down, totally confused. "Dude, why are you smiling? You just died," he asks Incrid, but he finally gets Ragna's lesson. It's not about fearing death. It's about finding that rival who pushes you to your absolute limits. Mitch just sees a crazy dude. Incrid dies. Again, and Creed respawns. Guess what? Back in training with Ragna, who's lecturing him on the exact lesson he just mastered. "Concentrate, bro." But Incrid just stands there, totally zoned out. Ragna wonders if this guy is even listening. Suddenly, Rem appears, calling them to gather. Incrid just says, "Let's roll." Ragna's confused. 1 minute Incrid looked like a quitter, now he's hyped? What a weirdo. Ragna, thinking Incrid's been slacking, plans to turn up the heat in the next warm-up. Back on the battlefield, the fog spell hits. Soldiers panic. They can't see anything. This time, Incrid, the respawned MVP, is ready. "Get down, shields." The squad blocks a deadly arrow volley. Squad's safe. Incrid breaks formation. "Rem, follow me." Ragna joins without a second thought. Rem protests, "Are you crazy?" Ragna tells him to just look forward. Ragna and Rem carve a path, tearing through enemy lines. Incrid follows the familiar route, opening the path until he meets Mitch Hurrier again. A wild grin spreads. "Nice to see you, friend. Let's fight." Mitch is bewildered. "Did you come looking for me?" Incrid, the king of sarcasm, says, "First confession, it's love at first sight, obviously." Mitch says his squad is called that, but this is a first. Annoyed, he lunges. Incrid tries the concentration state again, and instantly gets clapped. Mitch stands over him, totally unimpressed. He gets it now. His attitude was off. Can't force the focus, it has to be natural. So he just has to repeat this, over and over, grinding for that feeling. The 18th time, the 28th. He's getting closer, now he can do it. By the 48th time, he's back with Ragna. "I'll teach you my tricks," Ragna says. Incrid enters his focus state. Ragna's descending blade reflects in his eye. He perfectly deflects the blow. Ragna stares. "Wait, did you just deflect with single-point concentration?" Ragna is absolutely floored. "How?" Incrid's mind is clear. Pure concentration. Total control. After all these loops, Incrid's skills are next level. Ragna snaps out of it. "Squad commander, where are you going?" Incrid slings his sword. "To meet the platoon commander." Fire in his eyes. He's ready. Time to finally beat this today. Incrid knows this. Today needs a different play. First stop, the company commander. He drops some crucial intel he almost forgot about. He spills the tea about enemy spellcasters, especially this one sus-looking dude the Aspen soldiers were totally focused on. Her interest peaked, she just says, "Spill it." And Crid gives her the full breakdown. Mission intel complete. Just like every other today, a thick magical fog rolls in. Pure chaos for the soldiers. Arrows rain down from the unseen enemy. Encrid screams for cover. Total pandemonium. He just hopes his commanders actually use the intel he gave them. Fingers crossed, right? Zone mission? Super simple. Take down that guy. Encrid walks up, no fear, and calls out his rival by name. Mitch Hurrier. Mitch is shook. Who is this dude, and why does he know his name? Encrid grips his sword. All business. I wanted this fight from the start. Today, you're going down. He lunges. Blades clash in a shower of sparks. The boss battle has begun. Mitch is furious. He can't believe this guy's skill. This absolute menace. They break, then clash again. Their blows echo across the foggy, chaotic field. Mitch stares, kinda impressed. Were you sandbagging me? And Crid just gives a confident look. Turns out, yeah. What's your name? Mitch demands. Encrid. Mitch pushes back, vowing, I'll remember that name. And Crid is unfazed. No worries, I'll remind you when you inevitably forget. Suddenly, time slows, and Crid enters hyper-focus mode, remembering Ragna's pro tip. Single point concentration, my dude. He sees it all. The weight shift, the diagonal/prep. Every single move is now telegraphed. All those endless todays are finally paying off. Encrid can now predict Mitch's moves before they even happen. Talk about grinding stats. He sidesteps the attack effortlessly, neither hesitates. Their blades race for each other's throats at the same time. Shock flickers across Mitch's face, but the two continue trading blows. He internally rages. Am I actually struggling against this noob? No way. His usual parrying isn't enough. Mitch decides it's time for an all-out proper attack. He unleashes the wheel cut, his signature move. A massive arcing slash from below designed to remedy sticky situations. And Crid's eyes widen. He knows this move. This thing has ended his today countless times, the ultimate one-shot combo. Now, he sees it. He readies his blade with a knowing nod. Hello again, old friend. Blades collide in an explosive burst. Mitch is utterly floored. He saw it and parried. My signature move? Mitch's whole life flashes. He was a prodigy from House Hurrier, a natural talent. Recruited for his raw sword skills, he quickly proved his worth. Crushed battlefields, defeated champions, and became a city's pride by 22. Absolute legend, apparently. Joining the elite Greyhounds on skill alone, he truly believed no one could match his natural raw talent. He was a real Chad in his own mind. Training endlessly? Nah, for a genius like him, a few swings and he'd mastered it. Bro was just built different, or so he thought. He was complacent, emboldened by pure skill, and that, he finally realizes, was his biggest mistake. Back to the present. And Crid, having perfectly countered the wheel cut, drives his blade straight through Mitch's chest. Game over. Mitch looks down, gurgling in disbelief as his life begins to fade out. And Crid stands, catching his breath. Mitch, gasping, admits he totally underestimated him. You aren't even as strong or skilled as me. You're right. And Crid pants, sweat dripping. But I still won, didn't I? Mitch just mutters, darn it, clutching the wound. Only one thought consumes him. This was actually kind of fun. If only I hadn't been so complacent. If only I'd actually tried. As Mitch collapses, his men scream to protect him, scrambling past Encrid to reach their fallen leader. One of the soldiers rushes to Mitch's side, cradling him carefully while checking his injury. Commander, can you hear me? Grey Dog Company commander arrives. He orders his men to get Mitch to safety. Then, he turns his full attention to Encrid, the Chaos Bringer. Impressed, but absolutely furious, he raises his sword. The commander promises Encrid a very, very painful death. But Encrid, he's completely unfazed, eyes sharp. Yeah, I kinda can't forget either. He's totally surrounded by crossbowmen, but his focus remains singular. Breaking that flag and getting out of this mess. That's the new wall Encrid has to smash today. The commander roars, attack, and then he charges forward. Without a second thought, Encrid positions to meet the enemies head-on. Let's go. Encrid's totally outnumbered. He's not dodging every hit, he's just gonna tank it and push forward. Blondie screams, you wouldn't dare, and drops a heavy sword attack. Encrid barely blocks, sparks everywhere. One hit, and Encrid feels it. This dude's got some serious heavy attacks. Encrid instantly knows this isn't a first try kind of boss fight. He'll need a few respawns to win this one. But the real objective isn't the commander, it's that flag. He lobs a dagger, but it passes right through. The flag is not solid. And Crid dodges another angry swing. He has a new plan. Aha! The flag itself isn't the weak point, it's the connection to the pole. Slash! The dagger does its job. The magical banner rips free. The battlefield remains shrouded in mist, though the veil is beginning to thin. The spell breaks. Meanwhile, the company commander is absolutely raging. Command ignored her warnings, and now her front lines are getting wiped. She skewers an enemy, mentally roasting her incompetent superiors. Suddenly, she pauses. Wait, the fog is gone? An enemy soldier wonders about their flag. His question is abruptly answered by a spear through the chest. Enemy blinded and confused? This is their chance. Men, counterattack, she roars. Leading the charge, she spots a battered Encrid, kneeling alone. Wait, was it that squad leader who broke the spell? Encrid struggles up. Oh crap, he was supposed to fall back, but now he's deep in enemy territory. Classic Encrid. Suddenly, Rem emerges from the grass, dragging a body. Bring me the spellcaster, or you all die, he demands. Elsewhere, Ragna is about to throw down with some enemies. Then he realizes his mistake. Wait, you aren't the enemy, he yells. What is wrong with you? Do you want to be executed? Meanwhile, an enemy soldier corners the very wounded Encrid, telling him to just give up already. Before the soldier can strike, a black beast with glowing eyes leaps from nowhere, tackling him down. Encrid stares, shocked. It's the puma from the grass fields. The nearby crossbowmen are completely stunned, panicking at the beast's sudden appearance. In a flash, the puma zips through them. It doesn't attack bodies, but cleanly slices every single bowstring. Crossbows nerfed, the puma stands guard in front of Encrid, growling at the commander. You'd better leave now, Encrid warns. The commander stares back, grim-faced. Okay, this situation just got interesting. Just then, a familiar figure puts his hand on Encrid's shoulder. Stand back, I'll save you. It's platoon leader Vengeance. Vengeance charges and gets immediately swatted away by one hit from the commander. Big yikes. Vengeance is on the ground, groaning about how strong this dude is, and Crid deadpans. You said you'd save me. Still determined as ever, Vengeance screams, just shoot him. Commander effortlessly deflects every bolt. What a tank. But his distraction gives the puma an opening. Nope, the commander attacks the beast mid-air and slams it down. Ouch. In that split second, everything slows, and Crid's eyes glow. He sees it, an opening. He knows he can't match that raw power head-on. A direct parry is a death wish. So, he has to let it flow, just like Mitch Hurrier taught him. The commander stares in disbelief. That technique is Mitch Hurrier's. Crid holds his blade steady, a faint grin on his face. It worked. With a thunderous roar, Vengeance charges forward while the blonde commander's face turns grim. The commander's men rush to him. After a moment, he gives a grudging nod. I won't forget you. As you wish, Crid coolly replies. The commander orders a retreat. GG. Vengeance yells they need to fall back. Encrid tends the puma. We have to bring the puma too. Crazy jerk. Worry about yourself first. Vengeance snaps, then scoops up Encrid, carrying him to safety. Vengeance tries to keep Encrid awake, but he's losing too much blood. Encrid is back in the void, facing the spectral ferryman. This guy is getting annoyed by Encrid's constant visits. The ferryman asks what drives him. A vision of brutal battle flashes. Too much blood has been spilled for him to turn back now. That's a wrap on this recap. Hit that subscribe button to help us keep pumping out awesome content. Catch you in the next one.